They wanna be like us. You know you're not like us. You not HBG. You IUIC. UGOCC. No, you not like us. No, you not like us. All these camps, we talking about nothing. Why is they frontin'? They never follow commandments, they jump to assumptions. We spinning facts and they running. They wanna be like us. You not HBG. They wanna talk and debate. We already know you gon' lie in they face. Grown ass men be acting like women, and grown ass women be acting like men. Damn, you wanna be like Glorilla? We all know you never stick to a scripture. I'ma start calling y'all brother Nathan. You worshiping idols with Yahweh depictions. Whoever got ears, yeah, I let them hear it. You talking to God like you don't fear him. You bout to get burnt if you not serious. Proverbs 3:7, they must be delirious. Disrespecting the tribe like is you fried? They want smoke like you the most high. Stay off the weed, clear your mind. Don't believe what they say, just believe in Yah. C-U-C, or F.O.P.E, or A-D-U-I-C. Neither, they wanna be like us. You know you not like us. You not HBG. You IUIC. UGOCC. No, you not like us. Shout out to K. Jordan. He the one keeping it real. Y'all run away from my daddy. You acting like he pulling up with a steel. He tryna feed y'all knowledge. You don't wanna eat, you don't want a meal. Y'all be Deuteronomy 28, 48. Y'all still in the field. Y'all be deceivers for real. How you gon' lie to your people and act like you keeping the truth concealed? It's about time that y'all wake up. I've been reading Ezekiel 1 through 3 for real. On the mic since 3 for real. Stop trying to be like us. Not C-U-C, or F.O.P.E, or A-D-U-I-C. Neither, they wanna be like us. You know you not like us. You not HBG. You IUIC. UGOCC. No, you not like us.
It's this only road that I'm walking. No company, no company. All the voices in my head won't stop it. My only company.
Blood off my hands, the judgment coming fast, too much blood on his lane. The second Exodus is about to happen, he playing. He's sending out the winds, on this rock we gon' stand. We gon' trust the Son of Man. This the final album, was disconnected from the source, we done found the power. Messiah built the church back, gotta trust the founder. The carpenter, got the Father with him, ain't no stopping you. Protected by the winds if you got his help with you. Stand on the narrow, the Father gon' provide, y'all his eyes on the sparrow. Never seen the righteous get forsaken, not at all. The devil trying to take us cause he know he about to fall. Hey, Michael standing up in his hour, keep the laws. We gon' blow the trumpet, we ain't go to war with all. Messiah made a way, he laid it down for all flaws. We got the Father with his Isaiah, stand tall. Protecting these commands, they at war with him. The dragon man, cause the remnant about to score with him. The children of the prophets, we done finally hockey. The law is the light, got us out the darkness. Return to the Father, ain't no other options. We let Messiah in, we done heard him knocking. Worthy is the Lamb, ain't no better time, surrender all right now. Ain't no looking back, you ain't Lot wife, hell no. Fit for the kingdom, ain't no way that he gon' fail y'all. Training up his kids, ain't no way we gon' derail y'all. The devil making war with the saints, man, he smell y'all. We gon' go to war about these commandments to the end. Protect my Father word, this ain't no game, this ain't pretend. Messiah coming back, we study yelling, I repent. The angels on the corner, finally blowing out the wings. Ain't no other way to get protected but the blood. Abba, put your mercy and your grace around us. Keeping these commandments, cause we know that's real love. Building up this ark, cause you send it out flood. Where you see his hand upon this land, it's time to leave. Sodom and Gomorrah out of order, time to flee. Babylon gon' burn, every nation about to see. Messiah coming back, everybody to their knees. Every knee gon' bow. Boy, girl, child, y'all, he coming in the clouds. Thousands of years, now it's almost time now. The valley of the drought, we done came alive now. This for every nigga you done hung, every baby you done raped, everything that you done done. Ain't no way you gon' escape, ain't no way that you gon' run. You gon' see him face to face with a hill Babylon, but we can't.
Oh yes, oh yes, oh yes. Most High bless, most High bless. Brothers and sisters, I hope y'all can hear me. I'm talking kind of low because I'm on the plantation. Let me give a shout out, man, to the family, everybody in the comment section, the Israelites all over the world, anybody who believe in the Most High. Shout out to you. Most High bless all over the world, and I really mean that. You know, I don't care what you are. You know, but you believe in the Father, good with me.
Hallelujah.
You know, but let me say this too. Shout out to my CUC family, my New School of Thought, F.O.P.E, everybody, man. My brother Sodomine, everybody, man. You know who you are. Like I said, I'm on the plantation, hard for me to think right now. But the brothers coming on here, my brother Tobiah, you know, I've been having problems, right? Doing overtime, working and other things in the family, dealing with death and all that. So, but him and I had a misunderstanding about the date, but he's a soldier. He still, you know, came on. And I really appreciate that, man. Let me tell y'all something before the brother, before I introduce the brother. Let me say something about him, man. I've been knowing the brother for a little bit now. He done came to my home. You know, he's one of the most humblest brothers that I met, right? Outside of belief or anything. You know, he showed me nothing but respect, my family respect. Even if we have a disagreement, you know, the brother's always been meek and humble, and I really appreciate that. And I will say this: anybody that's going to debate him will have to put on your thinking cap, right? Because the brother been in my home, and he went back and forth with some other people that was there, you know, without mentioning names, you know. And even him and I was talking about some stuff, and opened my eyes to some things also. But without any further ado, man, Most High bless you, my brother Tobiah. Most High bless. How you feeling?
Shalom, shalom. I'm well. My prayers go out to your family. I'm glad that you're still here. That's a blessing. Every day is a blessing, and I appreciate you platforming me. You didn't have to,
no.
and I appreciate that. Thank you.
Oh man, no doubt, no doubt. You was on our sister, who we call the champ. You know, you was on her channel the other day, man.
Oh,
You
that's
done
solid.
yourself
Yeah,
well.
yeah, man. That's a kind soul. She's a sweet sister, man. I appreciated her time too. I had a good convo with her.
Yeah, no doubt. And I figured y'all would, because I was trying to. And I'm gonna be honest, man. A lot of people run from this sister, you know, and you know, a lot of people ran from us when we were saying Negro only. You
Right.
know, we were
Yeah,
trying to get that
absolutely. I
debate for
remember.
years, and people ran from us. Instead of debaters, they slander us instead. And same thing with the sister.
Right.
You know, she's a woman. You know, and then they stepped in the ring and got devoured. You know, for real. You
Yeah,
know.
I mean, she definitely sharp. You know,
Yeah.
she was definitely sharp. Like I said, I appreciate the conversation, and I look forward for us, you know, building again and whatever. Like, I mean, I know we always call these things debates, and I know
Right.
that's how it's put forth, but I've since for a long time now, I don't really view it that way anymore. I just see it as we're just sharing ideas. We come forth in exchange of ideas. And I think if it's always done in love and respect, I think someone can learn from it. Like I told her, everybody that I've ever disagreed with, I have always learned something from. Every single person, no matter what it was, I learned something from everybody. So I feel like as long as you can keep growing, you can keep building, and you can, you know, fall forward, for lack of a better term, then I think it's positive. I think it's good. When we just get into the place where everybody's your enemy who doesn't agree 100% with you, I think that becomes reductive. It becomes stagnant. It doesn't do anything. You can't really grow with that. So just so anybody listening know that I don't condemn anybody for their beliefs. I don't condemn even like camps or anything like that. Everybody, just like you said so eloquently, if you believe in the Most High, if you worship Yah, we on the same side. Okay. We may have different ways of going about it. We may have different beliefs or fall in different lanes, but we all want to serve the Most High. So as long as you're serving Yah, to me, that's good. Everything else is just us trying to come to conclusion.
No doubt. I couldn't have said any better. I 100% agree. I will add this to this. For our people edification, we know it stands for that, but it also stands for don't get F.O.P.E up. You
Don't
know,
get F.O.P.E up.
because a lot of slander has been going on, especially with my name. You know, and I laugh at it. You know, but I
Right.
will say, brothers and sisters, please tune in tonight around 9 o'clock, because I'm gonna address some of the madness. Is going to be on this channel, and I'm gonna have to talk this over with Sham. But I might have to just go ahead and put it on Set the Record Straight channel, because I'm gonna give a shout out to my brother Unseen and a few other people. We're gonna chop down it's not just false, but the slander is false, and to go up against the Most High. You have a lot. My brother could tell you, you have a lot of people who say they believe in the Most High, and really they don't.
Right.
And we're gonna show that. But look, without that, man, like I say, the floor is yours. I'm looking forward to you having many discussions with many other people outside of this conversation
Cool.
we're talking about now, because I welcome you to the platform as always, and I would love to see you have conversations, like I say, with other people, and
Right.
hopefully we leave it to a dialogue, a sit down and go over these things, and I'm hoping
Oh,
that
yeah.
is going to happen between you and Neftali. We have a few other people lined up. Hopefully that'll happen between you and Neftali very soon, maybe next week. I
I
don't know.
got to get back
They had
to
a
it. Yeah,
discussion.
I'm
But
down with it.
without further ado, man, you got the show. The stage is yours.
All right. I appreciate shalom to you, to your wonderful family, to anybody else who's viewing. I'm Tobiah. A lot of people, I won't say a lot of people, but some people know me from Facebook. I have been in the walk for a decade now. I came in this not with altruistic motives. I came in this because when somebody said that, the people of the book were actually, the African people, blacks, however you want to explain that, I didn't believe it. I thought it was silly and I thought it was made up. So I took the time, I researched it, and I came to the conclusion that this person was actually telling the truth. And it was me who was mixed up. It was me who hadn't learned what I should have learned. And this led me on a long path to discovery, because at that point forward, I made a conscious choice that I would never be deceived again. I would never be tricked. If I fail or if I stumble, it will be because I didn't do my diligence. I didn't research enough. I didn't study enough. And that's okay. That falls on me. But it won't be because someone told me something and I just believed it. So anything I say tonight or I ever say or that I've written or anything like that, do not just believe it. Please. I'm not asking you to. I don't believe in blind faith. The Bible doesn't promote blind faith. I'm saying just hear the matter out and maybe do some research for yourself to see if anything lines up or jives with what I'm actually saying. So, all right. It's basically the Old Testament and New Testament. These writings, these books, we have some brothers and sisters who are OT only. We have some people who are basically New Testament only, whether they be Christian or they be in the, Hebrew roots movement or Israelite movement or whatever. And they don't really ascribe to anything from the Torah Tanakh or whatever. I actually accept the volume of the book. I just don't accept everything word for word is perfect within the book. And the book actually tells you in a couple places that it is not perfect. And it actually gives you the history and explains how these corruptions have happened and, what happened from them the books just being destroyed to the lion pens of the scribe. I mean, there's constant documentation within the text that explains that it is not this infallible text, and no one will be able to find a verse to say the book is perfect. They won't. Now you will find, like the sister said, you will find verses that say the Father's word is perfect and without fail. Absolutely, that's his commands and his word is perfect or whatnot. But his commands and words are not always 100% duplicated within the text. Not always. Man wrote the book, and man is fallible. So with that being said, the focus for me or my shift began about, I guess it was about 7 years ago now. Yeah, 7 years ago. I guess I'm pushing 8 years. Wow. It's been so about 2 years after I got into this, I continued to dig. I continued to study. I didn't just stop at, these are the people. And, I just kept digging. I kept digging. I wanted to know. I didn't want to believe. I wanted to know. And the Ruach or the Ruach HaKadosh or the set apart spirit, they call it the Holy Ghost. I don't refer to that.
Hey,
But
can you turn your mic up? I'm sorry, can you turn your mic up
sure.
if possible?
I'm gonna see if I can. How would I even do that? Oh, my mic. It says it needs to be turned up. settings. Hold on.
I mean, I can hear you. Let me. If can everybody hear him clearly? If so, just put a 1 in the room. If you can hear him very clear. Maybe because I'm on a
Test.
plantation, it's kind of noisy in here.
Okay, yeah, I put it a little closer. Is that better or?
Yeah, I do hear you a little bit better. Yeah.
Okay, I think the mic was maybe a little bit too far away from my mouth. I think that was the problem there, and I probably was speaking low.
Oh, yeah. Okay. They say fine. You're good. You're good.
Oh, okay. So, like I said, over 7 years ago, I began on this journey, continued my studies, and what I came to find out was that everything that we had learned about the first century CE, or first century of the Common Era, some people call it AD, Anno Domini. It doesn't really matter how you refer to it, but the time of the Messiah in Palestine, right, in the southern region of Palestine. What I came to learn was a lot of what we got left to us was Roman propaganda. There was actually a war that took place, and we lost. And you know what they say about the winners get to tell the tale. So the Romans and the Idumeans, who actually won that war, they basically began a propaganda campaign. And this was so they could take because there was a lot of different nations, there was a lot of different, not just, Shemitic people, but there were Grecians and, Nabateans or Arabs. There were a lot of people who actually believed in the message of the Messiah. And they wanted to follow the way, the path, the Siddiq Halakat, the righteous walk. However, Rome basically killed him, killed his family, and everybody that was associated with him. It began in truth with Tiberius all the way up, to Hadrian, when Hadrian finally just exiled us, right? So Tiberius, he died. He's the one who was the emperor when Yochanan and Mercer, or John the Baptist, was murdered. He was beheaded. He died in like 39 CE, so a year after the Messiah died. I know some people believe that he died in 33 AD or 33 CE, but that just doesn't jive with history. That wasn't true. He actually died a year before his cousin Yochanan. And Yochanan died in 38, and Mashiach died in 37. 37 going into 38. Yochanan died in 38 going into 39. So it didn't end all the way up to the point where we got to Emperor Hadrian, where he exiled all the people from the region in like 134 CE. He made an edict and said that all Yashar, all Israelites, all people, these Semitic people, they have to go. They can't be here anymore. And they renamed the region. They changed it from Yehuda or Roman Judea to Syrio-Palestine. And all the people got exiled, and they went to Libya. They went to what we call Northern Sudan. They kept going, west until they settled into Ghana, which means kings. And the Ghana then is not where Ghana is now. It's actually further north in the Sahel, right? So where Mali is. And Ghana means kings. So these people who came from the southern kingdom of Yehuda and saw themselves as the descendants of kings resettled. And that's where you got the kingdom of Ghana in about 300 CE. They started like 200, but it became a proper nation about 300 CE of the Common Era. So back to my point. As all of that was going on, Rome still had to deal with the backlash, or deal with the repercussions of their teachings, which were so profound and so far-reaching that they could not, no matter how much. I mean, they killed so many people. It didn't matter who you were. If you were going around there and saying that you believed in Mashiach or the Messiah or any of his teachings or whatnot, they just killed you. Not just you, they would kill your family too. They didn't care. They would kill. They feed you the lines for jokes. They just did not care. So what they did was the Club of Rome, which was what it was back then. It became known as the Church of Rome, but it was originally the Club of Rome. They started this propaganda campaign, and they basically took all the writings from our people, everything, right? And they just started going through like it was like a bag of M&Ms or something, and they just started taking out the colors they ain't like. They just removed. I don't like this can stay. This can't stay. Okay, I'm good with this. and then they made their own bag. So let's say you like M&Ms and you only like green. Well, that's what they did. They made their bag of green M&Ms, and that's what you got when you got the Codex Sinaiticus, the Codex Vaticanus. Hieronymus or Jerome was one of the first ones of this with the Latin Vulgate, and you had a bunch of what they call the early church fathers, Origen, and Jerome. They basically slowly started to rebrand the faith, and they created what we understand as Christianity today. And from that, the New Testament was born. They just used a handful of letters. They didn't really care. Like a lot of people do know this, but some people don't. The books that were there were not originally titled. Like there was no book of Mattityahu or Matthew or no. They were just books. They were just letters, and they took it and they ascribed them to people. And not saying that they were all wrong in who they ascribed them to. It's just that is not how the text was formed. So scholarship today, modern scholarship, has something called the Q source or the Quell source. It's a German word. It means source or origin or whatnot. And what it basically is it basically means that there was an original document that the other documents all pulled from when they compiled what we understand as the New Testament. All modern scholarship, like I said, you can don't believe me, check for yourself. All modern scholars and historians today all admit that there was a Q source, and what we have is just a edited and redacted version of whatever that was. And I think you remember when I came and I met with you and I was talking to you, I was talking about the gospel of the Essenes, right?
Yes, I remember that.
Right. And so this text of the Essenes is just a term. Greeks, they like to Hellenize everything. So the Nazari became Nazarenes. You know what I'm saying? The Idumi became the Idumeans. So that's how they always put an "-ines" at the end of it to denote a group of people. And so the Essenes were actually it's from a Hebrew root word, means Oseh ha-Torah. It's all over the Dead Sea Scrolls. It means doers. They were doers of the Torah. And this group, they resisted Roman rule. Their leader was Jacob Sadiq or James the Just. You've probably seen him in your Bible. He's the author of the one book that's 2 pages long in the New Testament. That James is actually the leader of the Nazarenes. And Nazarene, or there was no place of Nazareth. That is more of Roman propaganda. They wanted to detract from the movement. So they basically said that, it's a place, Nazareth or whatnot. If you go do your diligence, you will find that there's no Nazareth that exists in history, in antiquity, anywhere. No historian wrote about it. No historian recorded it or discussed it. No one did. It is a contemporary location. It just didn't exist back then. It's also why you see when they're addressing Paul in the text, they say, he's a ringleader of the sect of the Nazarenes, because it was a sect. I'm sorry, you said something?
No, I was saying you said something about Nazarene. You already answered it. Go ahead, you good. You already answered it.
Right. It is a sect. Okay, so they had very different, like a lot of people know about some of the sects they had, and they're all over the New Testament, right? So you had your Pharisees, right? You had your Sadducees, right? You also had
Okay, family. I don't know if that's him. I think that's him because he's in Africa. So let's just give him a few seconds. We have dead air. I will say this, that he's definitely gonna have to prove everything he's saying, and hopefully get that discussion with Naphtali next week, but we'll see. He's saying a lot of interesting things right now. So I hope, and let me say this, F.O.P.E. does not necessarily agree or disagree with anything somebody come on our platform. It's up to the individuals to decide what someone's saying is truthful. And how do you do that? You research it yourself. You research it yourself. I don't agree with 100% with anything anybody says. At least I don't think so. But I want him on here because, like I said, we're trying to get this league started here, and he's a good person to get it started. Give me a second. Yeah, the brother texted me. He's coming back in the room. Sam, check the back. He should be coming back in the room. Like that show, that song, if it ain't one thing, it's another. But yeah, brothers and sisters, please check out, I guess around 9 o'clock, I'll be going live on this channel and set the record straight about Judah Nazareth, Paul, Netta, and a few other people that's been saying some things that is very asinine, and I'm going to straighten it out with receipts. Yeah, Sham, he said he's back, so he's waiting to be checked in the room. Give us a second after you can hear me, and then I'm about to call Sham, let him know. Sorry, everybody that's on the line waiting. Now I gotta locate Shawsham. So hold on, y'all. Doggone it. So, I also did, I guess about a 15-minute dialogue on who you going to vote for, right? To me, it ain't gonna make a difference anyway. I guess unless it's something local in your town. Some people have small towns, but overall, it's a lot of fear being preached to me. People talking about Project 25. People have been known for years. Oh, they're gonna make us set us back. We're going into slavery and all that. I'm like, well, Trump was already president. You forgot about that. We didn't go into slavery. When did you get out of slavery? So it's a lot of shit, man. I hear people saying, and it's really asinine to me. I mean, just the fear of our people. I mean, vote, vote, vote. I mean, no politician has done anything for Black people significant enough to where you would like give that person praise. Everything that happened to us, to me, happened through the Most High, because of what we did, and also Him having mercy on us to get the chains from off our neck, the physical chain. Okay, brother, you're back. Most God bless.
Shalom.
Oh, no,
Hey,
Salika. He's back on.
My apologies, everyone.
No, it's all right.
I'm in Ghana, and the my little power card it got a little low, so I'm on an old meter, and sometimes it just goes out. Like, I guess that's their way of letting you know.
I want to talk to you too. Maybe offline tomorrow about
sure.
I'll let you about something over there. But you can finish up, bro. Go
Yeah,
ahead.
sure. Yeah, no problem. So, like I was saying, there were a lot of people already heard of the Pharisees and the Sadducees. These were the main opponents of Yahusha and his camp, his group, his sect. They were basically an all Idumean or Idumean controlled group. The Sadducees were totally Idumean. In case anybody doesn't know, Idumean is the Grecian word or the Hellenized word for Idumea, which means Edomite. And this may be off-putting to what people may or may not know about that history, especially since I've seen a lot of us, we say, well, our own people killed them or whatnot. I mean, well, yes and no. There were Shemitic people that killed them. They were Shemitic, but they were not actually Yashra'al or ancient Israel. They were Idumeans, and they were put into power by Mark Antony and Julius Caesar. And what they did was they gave them freedom from taxes, and they made them citizens. They made them like royalty amongst the Roman Empire. And this is why when you read the New Testament, Paul says, oh, I've had this freedom from birth. I'm a Roman citizen. And why the centurion was like, bro, what are you talking about? I had to pay a great deal from this. And he's like, no, I had this from birth. Like I've always had this or whatnot. Because back then you could look at the Roman law. There, you didn't just become a citizen by like you are in America, like you were born there or you become naturalized or something like that. No. You had to, if you were a woman, you had to marry a Roman man. If you were a man, you had to join the Roman military and pay some of your salary, right? You had to join the Roman Legion, pay some of your salary, and then that would buy your citizenship. The only other people who were citizens of Rome were actually people who were part of the Roman royal family. So the Pharisees were mostly Idumean or mostly Edomite. The lower class were still Yashra'al. These were like the poor priests, right? The poor Kohanim. Just think of Yochanan Mercer's or John the Baptist's father, Zachary. He was a lower priest. They did duties like, lighting incense and, menial tasks that the Edomites did not want to be bothered with. And so the upper priest or whatever, your high priest, these were, and all the people who actually made the rules, the Pharisaical rules, their traditions and all that, these were all Idumeans. And this was done intentionally and was done by Herod I. So anyway, you had your Pharisees, you had your Sadducees, and then there was a third sect. It was called the Essenes, right? These Essenes were actually a larger group that could be separated and be identified as Nazarenes and or just Essenes overall. You had Sabbateans. These are all people who basically believed in ritual immersion, or they called them daily washers. They would immerse themselves in water to repent of their transgressions or their sins, because they didn't believe in using sacrifices to achieve forgiveness. So this group was started a lot. Like you had the Jacobites and all that. It existed long before you got to the time of the Messiah. But by the time of the Messiah, most likely, no one can say for certain, but most likely his cousin Yochanan Mercer, John the Baptist, he in truth started the Nazarenes as we understand it, or the Nazarene. And Yahusha, Ha Mashayach, or the Messiah, he continued on with that and then expounded upon it. And there was another fourth discipline that is little known. It was called the Sicarii. And the Sicarii were all Idumeans or Edomites, and they were known as the robbers or the assassins, the murderers. They used to do, they were allied. These were Idumeans or Edomites who did not have freedom from taxes. So that kind of rubbed them the wrong way. Like it did a lot of Idumeans in the region. Like they didn't like, why does this one family not have to pay taxes? And why do we have to pay taxes? Like that doesn't make sense. So they rebelled too. and they allied themselves with the Nazarenes originally, but eventually their paths splintered off because of the acts and the brutal nature of the Sakari. So those are your four philosophies that existed in the first century. Out of all of them, there was only one group who were ethnically Yasra'al, or Israelites by blood. That were the Essenes. And like I said, this was the Messiah, his inner 12, all of his family, all of his followers. All of them came from that particular discipline. And it got to be a clash on the Temple Mount 2,000 years ago over the proper way to go in the faith. So with the backing of Rome, the Idumeans, which were the Pharisees and the Sadducees, right? They decided to take these people out. They decided to remove them from power because they were set up by Rome to be tax farmers. They were only there to collect tax revenue from the population. And they had to walk on eggshells because, like, okay, so if anybody knows anything about Roman history, Caesar was there. He was never actually an emperor, right? Neither was Mark Antony. Actually, Julius Caesar's nephew, Augustus, was actually the first emperor. And then he made a taxation in the year 6 CE or 6 AD. And that's what set everything off, okay? This was a year after Paul of Tarsus was born, and it was the same year that the Messiah was born. And you had a huge rebellion from the population because they did not believe in paying tax. It's actually in the text, you're not supposed to tax your own people. So they weren't with that, and they all saw the Idumeans as foreigners. They saw them as foreign oppressors that had taken over their faith. So these Idumeans, like I said, they went out and they just continuously assaulted this group, and they eventually just wiped them out. And after it was all said and done, I know the Bible, the New Testament presents it like it was Disneyland. Everybody's walking around and they're singing and they're healing over there, and resurrecting everybody and all that. But it was a war zone. It was a brutal war zone, and our people were held by their oppressors. There was like the actual wall that everybody goes over there and pray to. They call it the Wailing Wall. That's actually Fort Antony. It's like Mark Antony's fort. It was a garrison for 10,000 Roman soldiers, right? That has nothing to do with the actual the Second Temple or the Herodian Temple, because that's what it actually was. It was the Herodian refurbished temple. They refurbished that and built that. So after all was said and done, everybody's dead. They moved out. Like I said, they had to try to get the will of the people back on their side because everybody wasn't with it. Everybody just was not with it. They witnessed what they did. They understood what was going on, and they rebelled. So eventually, after a couple hundred years of just murdering everybody who was still with it, they just simply said, you know what, they gave up and they just joined it. And they basically amalgamated their pagan belief system with the faith system that was presented by the Messiah and the other Nazarenes. This is where we get our New Testament, okay? There's a lot in there that is good. There are actual writings and quotes of the Messiah, and like I said, I read it. I was trying to tell our sister the other day, I'm not telling anybody not to read the Bible. That's not my message. What I'm saying is you need to not just read the Bible, you need to read all the Bible. You need to read all the surrounding material, not just the actual 66 book canon that they put forward, but you need to read everything. I'm talking about like the Peshitta, everything, right? All the other Nazarene texts, everything. And from that, by using 2 to 3 witnesses, as we're commanded to do, a picture will start to develop. You'll start to see what actually happened and why it happened. And what happened was the Messiah, his family, all of his followers, these Nazarenes, these Essenes, they didn't eat meat, okay? They didn't eat meat. They were vegetarians. And they taught people that was the way, that was the path. That's when he's saying, this is the way. My way is the only way to the kingdom or whatever, because his way was the path is what he was trying to express. And obviously Rome, not just Rome, but a lot of people just did not like that, including other people who were actually of, Yashar Ali or just Hebrew descent in general. A lot of people just weren't with that. They had been eating meat their whole life, and they didn't understand there was a sacrificial system, and why you telling me to stop doing these things that our people have done for so long. So Yahusha himself was a revolutionary that was there to change things. He was there to deliver us, to give us the path, to save his people. That was his means of saving the people. The miracle was for the whole world. The resurrection, that was for the whole world. So what was true and what was not true. Because ain't nobody was dying and coming back to life. That's just a trick nobody's been able to pull off. That and that 3-hour eclipse that happened along with the earthquake, right? So nobody's been able to pull any of that shit off. So that was for the masses to be able to believe. But the path, the redemption was for us so that we could find our way back to the Most High. And so what we have now are just the letters of Paul, who's the primary character of the New Testament, and that's pretty much it, really. Like, you have some snippets here, like you have Yehuda or Jude, which is his brother. You have 2 letters from Kepha or Peter. One of them is not even him. One of them is not even him. Like, everybody, like most scholars, they'll tell you straight up that he didn't write that. It was contested thousands of years ago. They knew that wasn't him. Like Hieronymus or Jerome was like, no, he didn't write that. That's ridiculous. Of course he didn't write that. But they basically took the words from these people, this group, this camp, and they just pushed it aside. And then they brought forth their Christian teachings. And this is where you got your Christ. He was born of a divine birth. He wasn't born like everybody else, even though the text says he had to be just like his brothers and sisters in every way. He was a pre-existing being that was a deity that shared a trinity. That was one part of 3 of all of them. This was all about the deification of their Christos figure, which actually was not the Messiah. In fact, the emperor I was talking about, Hadrian, he remarked that in his time period, he was like, I know Christians. There's plenty of Christians. I see them all the time. It was all the Christians I've seen, they're followers of Serapis. They call themselves bishops of Christ. This is a historical document that's been written. So all the way back then in the 2nd century CE, Serapis Hadrian, Emperor Hadrian, he even understood that a Christian had nothing to do with whatever it is you guys are talking about. A Christian was a follower of Christ who was Serapis. And if you go and look up a picture of this Serapis, he looks a lot like your JCBC I call him JCBC because he's Jesus Christ before Christ, because they say he was born, like if you read the Bible, they say he was born in year 0, or whatever, but he was born at the census. The census we know would happen in the year 6 CE. It's a well-documented event. Romans kept great records, if nothing else. Yet they have him being born before that or whatever. So he's actually, they say either, 3 BC or year 0. That's where they have him. So that's why I say JCBC, Jesus Christ before Christ. No disrespect meant to anybody in their belief. I'm just saying that's the terminology I'm using. So they created this individual, this Christ, this Christos, this Christus, to believe in and to worship, because they just wanted their faith system, which is why they have Sunday worship, which is why they have so many things. You have a Pope, you have, all these weird things, like they keep bones, they call them of saints, they have rosaries, they worship the Virgin Mary, all these things that actually fall outside of what is actually taught by this group. And the reason being, like I said, because they wanted their faith system. So that's pretty much it. I wrote a book on all of this. I called it the 13th Apostle. It's on Amazon, and in the book I give all primary and all secondary sources. So again, don't just sit up here and listen to some dude talking on YouTube. Like, who am I? I'm nobody. It will be the book that I wrote is like at the scholarly level. Like, it's a lot of information in there that scholars still debate on today. And I made a shortcut for our people, TLDR, too long didn't read. Like, unless you really want to go and read 1,000 pages of ecclesiastical history from Eusebius, you want to read 1,000 pages from the Dead Sea Scrolls, you know what I'm saying? You want to read a couple hundred pages from the Acts of Nazarenes. You want to read the complete works of Josephus is another 1,000 pages. That's a lot. And they keep us busy, like you said on the plantation, they keep us busy running this treadmill, so we never have time to stop and to think. We never do. The only reason why I even came across this information, because I took a hiatus from the job. I used to work for the federal government. I took a hiatus from the job for a few years, and that's when I began my journey on all of this. So because I wasn't running the treadmill, I could actually sit down and read it and dissect it and go through all this stuff. Most people do not have time for that, and I do not fault you for that. I believe everybody should absolutely study, and you do, but this is a lot of information. It really is, which is why, like I said, I just put it all in one book with all the sources right there, primary and secondary, so you can look at the source, you can just Google it and go find it for yourself, and you can see exactly what it is I'm talking about and what has been known by scholars and historians for thousands of years. So that's pretty much it. That was my whole spiel, if you will. So
Okay.
Any questions or any pushback, please, again, feel free. I'm not here to orate to anybody. Like, feel free.
Well, the link is in the room. People, I got a few questions. The link is in the room, so please, any and everybody, come on, be respectful and ask the brother some questions, because hopefully him and Naphtali can spar it out, man. Because I would like to see the scholarship. But here go a few questions I have for you.
Of course.
Do you believe in Genesis, Revelation, or just the Torah?
I believe in Genesis. Like I said, I believe in the complete works, like not just Genesis to Revelation. I believe Genesis, Revelation, and all the extra biblical texts. I do not believe in the 100% authenticity of every single writing, right? I believe there are some redactions, there are some overwrites, there's some things they took out, there's some things they put in. However, I consume all of the entire Hebrew corpus, the whole body of work of this ethnic group, which I believe we're all a part of.
Okay, second question. What books outside of the 66 books from Genesis, Revelations would you consider written with the finger of God?
I don't think there's any text, even in the Essene Gospels. There doesn't exist any text that we have extant or that we have left to us today that is perfect without fail. That is written by the hand. There's no book that exists like that. That just doesn't exist. Everything has been corrupted by man in some way, shape, or form. There's nothing. The easiest way to discern what is clean and what is unclean, what is good, what is not, is to be a good money changer, which they all preached. Yahusha and all his followers preached. You need to be a good money changer. Use 2 to 3 witnesses, examine all the material, use your free will, and prayerfully the Ruach HaKadosh, or the Spirit of Truth, will guide you to all things.
Okay, second question, follow up on the same one. From Genesis to Revelation, what books would you say that's inspired then by the Most High that you would recommend that we read that will go along with we shouldn't eat meat?
Okay. There are little instances. Okay, so it's all over the text. We just, like, before I even went down this journey.
I'm talking about outside of Genesis to Revelations.
Oh, outside of that. Of course.
What book would you say that's inspired by the Most High that you would use as a source to prove your point?
Sure. One is called the Acts of the Nazarenes. In my humble opinion, this is the real book of Acts. What we have in the New Testament is partially fictional, some fantasy, right? It's like they use real names, they use real places, and they try to ground themselves, but they were not prepared for anybody to really go over through any of that material with the fine-tooth comb, because you could just take a close look at it and you will see the discrepancies within the book of Acts historically about things that happened. So read the Acts of the Nazarenes. It was this dude called Clement of Rome. He basically followed Kepha or Peter around, right? So he follows him around. This is years after the Messiah is already, gone. He follows him around. He just chronicles everything that he does and everything he teaches, right? So you've heard of Shimon HaMagi or Simon the Magi, right? I'm sure you've heard of him in the New Testament, right?
I can't remember right off, but I'll take
there was Simon Magus or Simon the Magi. He said something to Peter or whatnot, and then Peter's like, "Oh yeah, nah, you got it wrong, bro. You should do it like this." And he's like, "Oh, bet, I'm gonna go ahead and become a follower of you." There's like 1 or 2 lines about that in there, and that's it. What actually happened, which is truth, historically, there was a debate that took place in Caesarea, and this debate was over the validity of the books. This Simon the Magi was actually an old follower, or he was part of the group that was Yochanan of Mercer or John the Baptist. He came from that group. And when Yochanan was killed, he then started his own group. And we know it today, his own teaching. We know it today as Gnosticism. He's the father of Gnosticism. And so he came at Kepha with, all of the holes that are in the text. Like I said, if you just read, there were holes that they knew about back then. And he presented it to him and made the argument to him about it. That's just one example I'm giving about, good information. But you have the Kepha or Peter, he's in there and he's explaining the teachings of the Messiah that was given to him firsthand. This is not him saying, I learned it from an apparition or some vision. This is the man spoke to me. You know what I'm saying? He was as close to me, face to face. And he told me what it was that we should do and how we should do it. And that's what I'm doing. So you have this one. I would say I wouldn't call this inspired or anything like that, other than that there's truth in it. The writings of Josephus. And what I mean by truth, like I said, the Ruach HaKadosh is a spirit of truth, right? This is not a spirit to save you or guide you. I mean, I guess truth can save you, it can set you free, but its main function, as recorded in the New Testament, is to be a spirit of truth.
Well, let me jump in real quick. Also,
sure,
now you say the acts of the Nazarene,
right?
And you can answer this real quick if possible. How many pages would you say is in that book?
Oh, about 200. Yeah, I can.
200 pages.
I'm sorry, not 200. The whole book is about. Is actually closer to 300, like 285, closer to 300.
Do that book have any witnesses to substantiate the things that it's saying inside?
Yes, there are witnesses that substantiate the things that are inside of it. So you have here ecclesiastical history. This is this dude Eusebius. Now everybody knows about Constantine I. I see how people talk about him all the time. Constantine I and the Nicene thing and our Nicene Council or whatnot. Well, Constantine I, he didn't write up the dogma or the history for Christianity. He just gave a platform for it, really. The guy who did that was a dude called Eusebius. Eusebius, he records that there was a book going around of this time that was the Nazarene Acts. It was kept by Clement, where he, commented on Kepha. He talks about it. You also have the writings of Origen. Some people might not know him. He was one of those early church fathers. He was a whole Christian. He was a Greek and a Christologist. And he basically talks about this text as well. And he even talks about that they had the book of the 12, because see, at his time, the Gospel of the 12 was a writing of the Essenes that they all knew about.
I have that book. Book of 12.
The book of the 12.
Before you elaborate, I'm just trying to set a foundation.
Feel free, bro. I'm done elaborating. Go right ahead.
We can build on that. So you said Constantine I. Right. Would you say that book is inspired by the Most High?
What, Constantine I? Are you talking about ecclesiastical history? This one?
Yes.
No. These people, they hated us.
Mhm.
So when
So
I
would you say
say
Eusebius? Would you say Eusebius or Clement?
Eusebius and
Eusebius.
Constantine, yeah,
Because
Clement became a follower. He became an initiate. He became
I
one of them.
have Clemens too. That's a very interesting read, but I had that also. So you would
Right.
say Constantine 1 and Eusebius are not inspired by the Most High or His Son Christ Yeshua Yahawashi.
Well, okay. So when we say what is inspired and what is not inspired, to me that's too broad of a term. I go by what has truthful elements and what does not, right? What is historically true, because the Yah is of truth. We all know that, right? If it's true, it's Yah. If it's not, it's not, right? We know this. So anything that has truth in it, I think is important for us to digest. It's just that simple. When we say inspired, you will find tidbits of information, because this was done in like the 4th century. So this predates a lot of the Christology and a lot of the doctrines, the religious dogma that is, built up over the millennia, right? So you could read this and you could see what they believed back at that time period. You could see what was circulated as being true. Now, they called them heretics. Like, for example, I'll give you an example of what I mean. So Eusebius, he talks about the Nazarenes and the Essenes. He says that plainly that they didn't call themselves, like he says, all the followers of the Messiah did not call themselves Christians. That is not true. He admits that. That is a truth. He said they called themselves Nazarenes. And he says, and some of them called themselves Jesseans. Now, keep in mind, there was no J that existed prior to about 500 years ago. So this is Isians or Essenes. That's what he's talking about. And he says these are the people who live around the Dead Sea. Now, there was no Dead Sea Scrolls that existed at that point, right? So this is the group who basically kept the library at Qumran or the Qumran Cave or the Dead Sea Scrolls.
Slow down.
Sure.
Because you.
Sure. Please. Yeah.
So we're gonna get to the Jetsons, the Jetsons. Like I said, wasn't no J, but it was another book you mentioned. I believe it says Origin, something like that.
Oh, Origin. Yeah, it was.
Yeah,
all you have is the writings of him. Origin. I would read him just to see the historical facts. Okay, so there was other guy called Epiphanius of Salamis, right? Salamis is the same place where Shaul basically met that sheriff who was named Paul in the New Testament, and he then changed his name to Paul. That's Salamis. This guy, all these people wrote what they called basically their testament against heretical writing. So all these people view the Nazarenes and the Essenes as heretical. They were all heretical. The reason being, primarily when you read Eusebius, he says, well, they say they follow the Messiah, yet they keep the Torah. That to him, that was heretical, because the Messiah freed them from the Torah. So there was no point of doing that. So he's like,
here go a question that may ruffle some feathers.
Please.
Now we go back and you say there's a lot of misprints in the Bible. I believe some people say it's 144 misprints, maybe more. That's what people say. And so we look at Constantine 1, so obviously there are 2, and we look at Eusebius and all these other people. And you said something that struck me. You said they was against us. So
right.
Let's hold that in the chamber. They was against us. So my second question, because you said they had witnesses, and Constantine and all of them, do they go back as using their witnesses going back to the Bible?
Yes, they actually do. Eusebius actually quotes the New Testament quite often, and he used that as proof against the Nazarenes. It's like, for example, to promote the virgin birth doctrine, he's like, oh yeah, well, we know that he was, before they came together, she was with child. So obviously that means virgin birth, right? Whatever. And then he quotes another guy, Hegesippus, who came before him, but he's like, yeah, see, he talks about that, they were family according to the flesh. Now, this whole phrase before they came together is actually from the guy I was talking about, Simon the Magi. He said that the virgin birth doctrine is actually his. He said that before his mother and his father they came together, she was found with child by the Spirit. And so he walked the earth as a man, as a spirit, and functioned as a deity almost. That was his doctrine. That whole Trinitarian thing is actually very Gnostic. It goes back to the demiurge, but they believe that the deity of the Bible is not the actual Most High, as we call him. There's one that's supposed to be above him. That's what they believe. That's not what I believe. That's what they believe. And he uses certain verses to promote this silliness. He's like, oh well, the reason we know this is because when he came into the garden, he was looking for Adam and Hawa, or Adam and Eve. He's like, where are you? He's looking for him. He says that ignorance means that he is ignorant of things. And if he is ignorant of things, then he cannot be all-knowing. Right? That's the logic he's using, right? He's not even trying to use any nuance with it of how they were created. That's irrelevant to him. He's just going about what is printed. And then he goes and he says things, just giving that same example. He's like, yeah, and he put the tree in the garden, and it's like if he and then the serpent beguiled the woman. They did that. It's like then he can't be all powerful and all good, because he would have stopped that from happening, right? If he loved mankind so much, why they let that happen right there? Now Kafar refuted all of this and explained it all, but the point is, this is what Gnosticism is. This is what we're talking about here. This wrangling of the text. Everybody was going over the text line by line, see what everything actually meant, trying to bring out the fullness of it. So, like I said, you should definitely read the Dead Sea Scrolls. That is totally inspired. Those were the only reason why we even know that the Torah Tanakh is even true is because of Dead Sea Scrolls. It is the oldest collection of the writings of our people, kept in our own languages and used for faith and teaching purposes. It's the only one that's that old, period.
Other than the Dead Sea Scrolls, I guess the other books that you mentioned from Constantine and all these other books you mentioned, are they after the gospel or before the gospel?
They actually, okay, so Eusebius actually was after what we call the Gospels. The Gospels, what we call the Gospels, or these books of the New Testament or whatnot, they were not seen by anyone until 1000 CE. I know that's a hard pill for anybody to swallow, because they're like, no. Yes, they were paleographically dated to be earlier. Absolutely. We do know for a fact, because we have the actual scrolls, that I believe Galatians and Thessalonians were in circulation prior to that, around the 1st century. But other than that, there's no definitive text that has those writings in circulation. Now the question becomes, why is that? Why wouldn't you have the originals of those? Like, that doesn't make sense. It's quite simple. They reordered the books and put them the way they wanted. So even Codex Sinaiticus or whatnot, Codex Vaticanus, it's called Vaticanus because it was held in the Vatican. Right. But when were these books seen? Go look up when these books were actually seen by man, or where anybody can actually say somebody saw them and reported on seeing them. About 1,000 years ago. Yeah. So all those texts over a long period of time were reworked and were altered to fit the doctrine of the Roman Catholic Church, or the RCC.
Now you're going to have to prove that. When you say it has to fit, because I'm pretty sure.
Show me any show me. I've looked it up. Show me anybody, any proof. I gave the. Okay, so as I explained before, all sources I have in my book, I give it there. However, anybody with a computer, you walk around with a phone in your pocket, go and find where anyone has physically touched or read any of the text. I'm not talking about any singular, work, not this book or that book or this letter or page here. I'm talking about the complete work, the New Testament in its completion, its entirety, not before that date. There's no record of it ever being touched or read by any mortal before that. So it's not
Would
like
you say? I'm sorry. Would you say the books that you name? Right. You start like I keep on saying Constantine. I wrote that down.
oh,
But
Eusebius. Yeah, no,
and Eusebius.
Eusebius, the classical history. Yeah, sure.
Yes. Would you say that these books are a mate to the Bible, to the scriptures?
To their Christian Bible, sure it is. Sure it is. That promotes a very slanted Roman view. Sure it is. Absolutely.
I'm asking these because I know these are questions people probably ask if they come in the room.
Right.
Also, here go one more, and I'll let you go ahead. I want to interrupt because I know I'm asking you a lot.
No, brother, please feel free. No, it's good.
Right. So could you prove that we shouldn't eat meat without any book other than the Bible?
Without any book,
can you prove that we should eat meat only using the Bible? Do you have to go outside because you said you talking about a mate doing Christianity? You said no. Okay.
No.
Here we go. Okay.
No.
So where do we stop?
What do you mean, where do you stop? Where is it cut off the history?
Yes, how many books should we use? I mean, where do we start as far as like, okay, this guy said or she said, and her reference is this, because like you say, just like you say the Bible has flaws in it. I'm sure these other books may have flaws also.
Absolutely, they do. Sure.
Right. So where does it stop in finding to prove that we can't eat meat? Now, if you say you can't prove it just using the Bible,
I said you can. Yes, you absolutely can.
Oh, you can. Oh, okay.
Yes.
So
absolutely. I said you absolutely can. Yes, absolutely. I can prove it. I don't need any of these other texts to prove that you shouldn't eat flesh.
Right.
You could just use the Bible for that. It's very simple. It doesn't. It just a cursory flip through of it. You can see that there and see what's going on.
Can you explain to the people what is flesh, according to the Bible and according to man?
According to the text and according to man, flesh is anything that comes from the carcass of something that was once living. Carry on, or something that was living and is dead, and you take off of it. That is flesh.
Okay, now I gotta ask this question. I listened to the show the other day, and maybe somebody come on now. You just said anything that comes from something that was living.
Anything that comes from the carcass of something that was living, that you cut off of the carcass of something that was living.
Oh, it's something that you cut off the carcass, you would consider that flesh.
Yeah, as I said, that is flesh. The flesh of anything is something was alive and it died, and you cut a piece of it off and you ate it. That is flesh.
Okay. So if you eat a whole chicken, a whole turkey, a whole lamb, without cutting anything off, is that flesh?
It's still flesh. Absolutely. Whether you cut it off or not, it's just part of a dead animal. Yes.
So anything that comes from an animal, you would consider flesh. Then okay.
Not anything that comes. Okay, so the Essenes, for example, I was talking to the sister about this. The Essenes, they told people to drink milk in their gospel of peace. So they weren't vegans; they were vegetarians. That's a misconception a lot of people have. I personally believe you should be a vegan. With everything that's going on the way the world is, I say you should probably be a vegan without a doubt. That's probably the safest, best way to go, honestly. But they didn't teach that. What they were just simply saying was, do not kill something and do not eat it. That was
so.
That
Again,
was
I'm going to ask you again because I'm getting kind of confused. Sure. I was following you all up to this point right here.
Okay.
What do you consider flesh is of it? Because whether somebody cut my arm off or not, it's still flesh because it bleeds.
Right.
It's flesh. It comes from it's just
flesh.
Is what is flesh to you? That's what is flesh to you?
Flesh is simply, like I said, the tissue, the muscle, the bone, the sinews of any creature. That is flesh.
The sinews. Now, the sinews is what? Can you explain that, or you want to?
Oh, sure. No problem.
That connects. I know, but I want you to explain to the people.
Yeah. So, like the tissue that connects your joints together, all those like your tendons and ligaments, all those type of things. Those sinews.
Okay. Would you consider a woman that's 3 months pregnant, and would you consider that life?
Would I consider that life if she's 3 months
If a woman
pregnant?
is a month pregnant, would you consider that life?
I believe that, okay, after the egg is fertilized, yes. And then she goes 3 months and the baby develops a heart. And yeah, that's life. Absolutely.
So a month, that child will, I mean, that will be considered life.
Right. It develops a heart.
That's in the embryo. That's in the before the heart. But the I would say goulash, because I don't know the medical term. Would you consider that life being formed?
You saying if there's
I only
no
ask that question.
heart?
I'm only asking that because I'm leading up to something. I think you know where I'm going. But I want you to answer.
I think I do know where you're. I believe I do know where you're going with it. I'm not sure, but I think I do know where you're going. In. So when exactly is the heart formed in an embryo?
That's what I'm trying to say. Is the heart considered life, and it's the embryo flesh?
The heart, once the baby, okay, so life is when you have the egg of a woman and you have the seed of a man and they come together. That is the beginnings of life. Once that happens, that is the miracle of life. When that egg is fertilized, right there. Okay.
We're going down a rabbit hole, but I got to go there because you brought these two things up and I didn't.
Sure.
So
the heart of a fetus begins to develop. The heart of a fetus begins to develop as early as the 3rd week of gestation. So this happens within the first 3 weeks. So if you're asking me, asking me prior to that, huh? No, sperm is not life. It can bring about life, but it's not life. It's a living cell. It's living cells, but yeah, there's living cells and everything. Plants have living cells.
Right.
I mean,
right.
There's living
I'm
cells
only going
and
there
everything.
the reason why I say that because I'm ready to go to the question I want to get to, because I heard you say this. I'm like, well, what the brother talking about here? And we mentioned, she asked you about, are you a vegan or what she said, vegan?
Vegetarian.
It was something else. She said vegetarian, and she asked you, do you eat eggs? And you said yes, you eat eggs.
Sometimes I do. Yeah.
Can you explain to the people? Why you wouldn't consider egg the flesh of an animal?
The same way I wouldn't consider milk the flesh of an animal. Does it have proteins and amino acids and things that are of life and hormones of life that comes with it? Sure, it does. But it is not a living sentient being. It will never become a living sentient being. The only way to become a living creature is for you to be fertilized by a man or a male. It's the only way.
So an egg,
this goes from the insect kingdom all the way up to
if a chicken lays an egg, would you say the egg has already been fertilized because it's now just waiting on it to be hatched? You can't do anything else to an egg but give it.
Well, no. I mean, I could see how someone might see it that way, but it's not. No. I don't see it that way. No.
So if you don't, because I hear a lot of guys, people say, well, you're a murderer, you killed the animal. So if the egg has already been fertilized, the male and female get together and they produce and make the chicken egg, and now the egg is waiting to be hatched. Would you consider yourself a murderer if you eat the egg before it hatch?
If the egg has been fertilized, okay, hold on.
I'm like, because before you end up trying to have a discussion,
I want to give scientific proof to you because I don't want to just say something. I want to give
the white part of an egg, they say, does not have cells. I believe.
Hold on. Let me answer.
Mm-hmm.
Any hen can lay an egg without the rooster. Any hen can do that. They ovulate every 24 to 26 hours, regardless of fertilization. And it takes 26 hours for an egg to fully form after ovulation. So I'm not really sure which the point you're making or whatnot, but you can eat eggs that have not been fertilized. A lot of most chickens, pasteurized eggs you eat that people eat, they're not fertilized.
They're not. Here's the confusion.
If you had one, if your question is, if you had one that was fertilized and then you commenced to eat that, then yes, you interrupted the life process. The same way as if you, okay, what you're asking me is akin to saying when a woman menstruates, is she committing murder every month? No, she's not. Her egg's not fertilized, so that's not.
Well, let me hold on. Let me jump in with that, because I was going that part right there. To me, I wouldn't say that, because that's something normal, because the egg was not fertilized, so the body cleanses itself. But the egg,
well, the chicken ovulates and it gives out the egg. Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead. Sure, please.
Yeah. So with the egg, because like somebody put in the chat, a chicken can lay eggs without a rooster.
A rooster.
Okay.
Correct.
So what I'm saying is, because they say we shouldn't eat anything flesh, right? And I think I heard one brother say one time, or anything coming from animal. But this actually comes out of the animal and don't come from any tree or any plant. This egg comes from the animal. The liquid, the stuff that's inside the egg, is the fluid of an animal.
Has
Whether
proteins, amino acids.
Whether the egg hatches, whether it has a heartbeat, it's the fluid of the animal. Whether it has proteins, we could say, well, it has protein. Well, it's still the fluid of an animal. Whether it becomes a drumstick, all these different parts that's inside that will be in the chicken, is still the fluid. So would you say it's the fluids of the chicken?
I would say that are the fluids of the chicken, but milk is the fluids of cows. It has the fluids. It has the cells of the cow. That's legal.
Exactly.
The Messiah and all, let me talk. That's legal. Honey, it comes from insects. When you're eating honey, you're literally eating the fluids of a bee. That's what you're eating.
I agree.
And a lot of the Essenes and Nazarenes, they ate honey all the time. No one. This is what I tried to explain to the sister on the thing. They never said that you had to be vegan. I'm not telling anybody to have to be vegan. What they specifically said was, do not kill an animal and do not eat the carcass of an animal. Now, I know how our people are, and we like to, we move around and whatnot, but that seems pretty straightforward to me, right? If it was alive and then you killed it, or someone else killed it, and you start eating it, whether it was in part or in whole, that is you consuming an animal. They all of them used honey. They all they taught that drinking milk was fine. You know what I'm saying? So they were vegetarians. I never said anything about being a vegan. I said I think you should be vegan in the world today because of what's going on. And my reason for saying that is because of the animal industry, how animals are treated. So for example, if you consume milk, the dairy industry, I don't know if you've ever been to a dairy farm or even seen one, but it is a horror show. Okay? It is a horror show. And so by you buying into that, you're using your money, you're voting with your dollars to basically help the exploitation of those living creatures. That's why I say that you should be one. But I have never said, not one of these texts, none of these books say anything about being a vegan. The concept of vegan did not exist in antiquity. What you're talking about is kind of, for lack of a better term, without being insulting, you're trying to take New Age philosophy and you're trying to overlay that onto old school teachings. That's what it is. And they don't mesh. They just don't mesh because they never taught. In fact, when you read the Essene, you said you have the Essene 12. When you read it, what was his words? He says, do not harm an animal or do not have an animal to come to be harmed. Do not eat the flesh of a living creature. That's what he says. So in the same way, like I said, they did that and they tell you it's okay to eat honey and it's okay to eat milk, right? Again, these are vegetarian principles, meaning that I'm not going to eat the meat, the flesh. Like, I don't know how, like, I know, like, I don't know how anybody else defines it, but meat, it seems pretty obvious to me what meat is. That seems pretty obvious to me. I know that it can mean food and is often used as food in the text, but meat is very simple. It is literally the flesh of a living creature.
But isn't flesh blood?
Flesh, yes, flesh is blood, absolutely, yes. But there's blood, there's blood cells in milk and pus.
Yeah, you can't just because you don't see the red doesn't mean it's because everything in the body
R-
is made up
right,
out of blood. Just because you
right,
can't see the blood,
right,
anything
right,
that's a living
right,
creature,
right.
uh,
There's again, there's blood in milk. Hold true to what you said. There's blood in milk.
right. So what's to
They said it
stop
was
us from
okay.
what would stop you from eating a buzzard egg?
What do you mean will stop me from eating a buzzard egg?
No, I'm
I
just being
wouldn't have.
facetious.
Okay, no, I get your point. I see your point or whatever. Okay,
Right.
so if you had a buzzard, one of those big, or like an ostrich, like one of those really, really big egg. Me personally, I wouldn't find that too appetizing or whatever. I've never eaten one, so I don't know what it tastes like or whatever. But what will stop me from off of it is my own mentality of the creature, know how it lives and what it does and everything. And I would probably refrain from that, just off of that. But if it's an unfertilized egg, there's nothing wrong with that. Not according to what they taught, what the Essenes Nazarenes taught. No.
How would you know if you're getting an unfertilized egg or not?
Well, a simple thing you could do is you could sit up there and let it sit for a little bit. I mean, that's the most simplest, basic way to do. Just let it sit.
Well, but a lot of people, I'm sure, especially, I'm not saying you, a lot of these guys that will say they eat eggs, they're not growing their own eggs. If they do, they go to a farm and they don't know if the egg's been fertilized. Or you go to the grocery store, you don't know if the egg been fertilized. So how would you know?
Well, okay. How would you know if an egg would be fertilized? Very simply. Like I said, if you let it sit, you'll see. But then, like you said, they refrigerate it. So maybe they killed it or whatever. Okay, so if you crack an egg open and it has blood in it or something like that, then that will probably be your first clue that the egg was fertilized. If you crack an egg that hasn't been fertilized, there's not going to be any blood in it.
But we just said that just because you don't see blood, everything is.
No. You asked me how would you know. You asked me how would you know. I'm answering.
Well, no, what I'm saying, but
right.
I know, but here's the point I'm making. I said that first. I said,
sure.
The flesh is made of blood.
Right.
The embryo, everything that's inside the egg, just because you don't see the blood,
just like milk,
is made of blood. So when
just
you
like
say,
milk.
well, if you crack an egg and you see a little blood, you know it's been fertilized. I would have to respectfully disagree because everything.
I just said, I literally.
Creature is made of blood.
You're not disagreeing with me. I literally said that milk has blood and pus in it. I said that.
So that's what I'm saying. Well, how can you tell the difference between an egg being fertilized or not? Because when you say it have blood in it, then you know somebody going to say,
you
well,
said,
you
how
need a
would
source.
you know? That's the only way that I know personally. Like I'm not.
Okay.
Yeah. I'm not an expert on poultry or eggs or whatever have you, but that's a sure way that I would know. I would simply say probably just research it yourself and look it up and see. That would be the
my final two questions would be this.
Oh, I got your answer. No. I got your answer right here for you. Real simple. Again, like everything that we do these things and whatnot. We're literally walking around with computers in our pockets. Mm-hmm. The simple way to tell if an egg has been fertilized is use a bright light in a dark room and candle. Look at its interior. Fertilized eggs will have a spider-like veins in the dark area where the embryo is developing, while unfertilized eggs will be translucent. Simple.
Well, see, I'm glad you brought that out. Now I may have done you a favor because I'm pretty sure you wasn't doing that.
Oh no, no. When you get anything, like I'm in Ghana, bro. There's I'm not getting my shit from no.
Yeah, I know that. I know.
From no, what's the name?
So
these are people who literally have their hens right there. They're having the eggs and they're just like boom, they put them out and they're just this is not we're not buying from the same sources, right? So, but even that being said, like I said, all pasteurized, go look up anything. None of those eggs have been fertilized. The chicken market, to understand something that you can really maybe you grasp what I'm saying here. They only keep the girls. They kill all the boys. So they keep the girls and they raise them and they keep them in these torture chambers and let them grow up and they have these eggs. The boys, they basically throw them in a blender, chop them up as feed and feed them to the other ones. They don't keep no men to fertilize no eggs. So you don't have that problem over there because there ain't no roosters running around.
Well,
they all dead. The industry killed them.
Let me say this right here, and this is only my opinion. And I agree with a lot of stuff you're saying. I would just say just from me, and I'm not a science, just me using my common sense.
Sure.
That's why I went back earlier. I said everything, the egg and everything, every living creature is made up of blood. So
And cells. Sure.
if an egg, with the yolk and everything that's in the egg comes from a living creature, which is the chicken.
Sure.
Right. So
I agree.
as that egg, and I don't know the scientific understanding on how the egg is being formed inside of the chicken, but I'm sure that liver or whatever, everything that's in that egg is has passed through the
a
real
fetus
quick.
that does not fertilize is just basically a clump of cells. It's not life. It's a clump of cells.
But the cells don't come from a plant; they come from an animal.
No, I don't disagree with that. But again, you've not heard me say now or
I know I'm not, and I agree with you. You're not saying that
the cells of living creatures. Again, the Essenes, the Nazarenes, they never taught that, and there's no writing that says they ever taught that. So
it's okay to eat the cells.
Yeah, when you drink milk, you're eating cells.
Right.
Yes,
and them cells come from an animal.
Yes,
Okay.
when Yahusha gave his commands, when he went around and told everybody what to do and what not to do, he never said, "Don't eat the cells of a living creature." That never came out of his mouth. Not any text that we have, not anybody who recorded anything ever. Okay, so again, that's why I made the statement that you're kind of taking you're taking a new age, you know what I'm saying, philosophy, and you're trying to overlay that onto teaching some antiquity that won't jive because they can't mix. Drinking milk, I don't drink milk like whatever because I just don't drink milk or whatever, but there's nothing wrong with drinking milk. They even in the Essene Gospel of Peace, they literally tell most of us are lactate intolerant. I'm lactate intolerant. That's why I don't drink it.
Yeah.
But they tell you to go ahead and drink milk in their Gospel of Peace. They tell you to
I
drink
still
milk.
eat ice cream and I'll be hurt. It's something you said. It's something that you said.
Sure.
You said this right here. You say, well, because I asked you, what's to stop me from eating a buzzard egg? Right? It's just an egg. It's not the flesh, right? So we went through the whole discussion.
Right.
So, and I asked you that for a reason, and then you said, well, because you know how a buzzard, the things that they do. Well, chicken will eat just as much as a buzzard will eat. They will eat the same thing. Okay, sure. I know as a child, I'm gonna say something real nasty, and please forgive me, brothers and sisters. We were little kids. We used to spit, and the chicken run and go eat your spit. Yeah, a chicken would eat a man.
I got them over here running out here all the time.
I've seen chickens. My own eyes seen chicken eat rats.
Yes.
Okay. So a chicken would eat anything. Now here go to my final question, because I would like somebody to come on, but if they don't, then
before you ask your final question, this brother
you can ask the question. You guys ask a question.
No,
in the chat.
I'm not asking one. This brother, he says, if you drink milk, you're taking milk from a calf. Then don't drink milk. Don't drink it. If you own a cow, if you have a cow and you're not killing the cow and you take the cow, because the cow if you live an agricultural life or in an agricultural society, cows have to be milked. They have to be. It's not something they just sit around, whatever like that. You have to take the milk out of them. The thing is, leave animals alone, period. Again, that would be your queen of stubbornness. That would be your interpretation. There's nothing in the text or any writing that said leave animals alone, period. They just said don't hurt them, don't kill them. So if that is your prerogative, then leave animals alone. I'm not telling anybody you have to, do anything like that. I'm just simply saying, you asked me about the buzzard or the ostrich or whatnot. I wasn't just talking about what they do in terms of what they eat. I was more like those things are huge. Have you ever seen an ostrich egg? But they're huge, right? They're so big. They're so big. Like I don't look at that and see that as I would. I just don't. That's my personal preference. But like I said, when you ask it, there's technically nothing wrong with it. An unfertilized embryo is just a clump of cells. It's not a life. It's not alive.
So we could eat an egg from anything that can lay an egg. That's what you're saying.
What I'm saying is that if you eat the eggs of any living creature, you seem to be very focused on eggs a lot, but okay. If you
No,
eat the
because
egg,
I heard that. And I want. Oh, let me stop you just for a second. The reason why I'm focused on this is because I used to be a vegan. I didn't eat any meat, right?
sure,
And then when I heard the sister ask about the egg, and I was like, wait a minute, because when I wasn't eating meat, I didn't eat any eggs. I didn't even eat fish. Okay,
right.
so
Well, being a
I'm
vegan
just
is
trying
not
to.
eating fish is that's not
And
vegan.
I didn't know it
That's,
was a difference until later on. So I'm just trying to figure out. I see your stance, and I want everybody to understand your stance. So
my stance is
moving
vegetarian.
right
Vegetarians eat
there,
dairy.
we go.
They eat dairy and animal products. I've said this several times now. I'll say it one more time. I am a vegetarian. Okay. The Essenes, the Nazarenes, they were vegetarians. Okay. These people still kept animals. They still kept livestock. They just didn't eat them. They kept animal for husbandry or to work in the field. They kept animals for milk. They kept animals for a wide, vast, reasons. A wide, assortment
Queen
of reasons.
stubbornness and if I'm saying it right, Brazil or Oralites. The link is in the room, or can somebody please
Yeah.
put the link back in the room and you can come on and ask the question. My last question was
So
when I mentioned something, but real quick, my
sure,
last
sure, sure.
question was I said, can we eat an egg from any animal?
Right. Okay. So you asked me, can we eat the egg from any creature? Like you're
Yes.
talking about like fish eggs or anything of that nature. I assume is what you're getting at. I
Anything that
would
lays
say
an egg.
anything that lays an egg or whatnot. Again, there's nothing textually against it. There
Okay.
isn't. There's nothing
Okay.
textually against it. That's not written. Now, when you said I was vegan, I didn't even eat fish or whatever. Fish, if you eat fish, you're a pescatarian. Fish is a living creature. You're eating the flesh of a creature, right?
Okay.
But if you're eating an unfertilized egg, you're not eating it cells. You're not eating what's the name, right?
The flesh. You said not eating the flesh. Okay. I got it. I wanted to
Right.
be sure
And
so
like
everybody
and
people won't
even
come
to
ask
get
you the
the
same
egg
shit.
from a
That's all.
fish, the
Mhm.
egg from a fish, you got to kill that. Fish don't, you got to kill that. If you want unfertilized egg, the fish got to be sliced open. That's how you get caviar. So that's a no-no. You can't do that because you got to kill it. That's the line in the sand.
So we can't, if somebody, because I don't know if you answered that. We
Right.
can't eat an egg from any animal. I just want to know that question. Can we eat an egg from any animal that lays an egg?
I just answered it. I did.
Okay.
I just
All
answered
right.
it.
All right. So the link is in the room. If anybody want to come on and ask the brother a question,
feel
he's been
free.
very patient with me, and I had to go on you just a little hard because they're like, "Damn, Qanath got weak."
Brother, that wasn't, if that was your idea of hard, oh my goodness. My guy, we have fallen off. That is not. We had a more robust and more, you know what I'm saying, spirited conversation when I was sitting in your house and you was feeding me. Okay, like that was. If that's your definition of hard, then I think we got different definitions about it. That wasn't hard. Like,
hey, look, you already know how I go, man. I couldn't, we do it,
Yeah, man, feel free. Anybody want to ask anything? I will give you the answers to the best of my
Right.
knowledge.
Hey, Sham, hold on real quick. Hey, Sham,
Sure.
Sham, check the back. And if Charlie says she's in the back, I'm pretty sure other people may be in the back. Brother, let me drop off for a second and call Sham. You can finish up a little bit while they're going to take maybe 3 minutes. You can hold it down for me, if you don't mind.
Sure, no problem, Mark. No problem.
All right.
So, how do we keep Passover without eating the lamb as Abba Yah instructed us to? That's a great question. That is a great question. If you study the history, first I want to preface with this before I even get into that. Go read the Levitical laws about keeping Pesach. Does it mention killing a lamb? No. That is only in the Shemot or Exodus. So when you go to the Levitical laws about keeping or whatever, it tells you to keep unleavened bread. Don't mention no lamb. So that's how you keep Pesach. You keep it as it tells you to keep it, right? The lamb was a tradition that held over from the time of Shemot or Exodus. Very simple. And as far as the Messiah or whatnot, he didn't eat the lamb. You will find no verse in there where he ate the lamb. And in fact, when you do a study historically, you'll see he was actually killed for not eating the lamb. He didn't eat the Pesach lamb. So he got killed for that. And this was the reason why Yehuda of Kerioth, or Judas Iscariot, he turned him in. He turned him in because he went and bought a Pesach lamb, and according to the text, he says, well, we should be eating lamb. And he didn't eat it. And so that was one of the charges that the Pharisees had against him. Like when you read when you read the just the standard 66, it will say their main charge against him was blasphemy. That was the big charge they had against him. But when you go through the historical documents, I mean, really start peeling back these layers of history to get at to what is truth, you'll see that this is why they were like, the crowd was like spitting on him and jeering at him and saying, oh, this is because you look at you wouldn't eat a lamb, and now you can't even save yourself. You saved the lamb, can't even save yourself. Now you're the lamb. That's where that whole title of calling him a lamb came from. Yeah, you think that's where it came from historically.
But Most High bless Queen Naphtali, Apostle to Queen. Most High bless you. I'm gonna let the sister go first. The brother been on for a while, and I really appreciate it. Again, you one of the most weak and humble brothers I see out there, and I hope since you said my questions weren't hard enough, hopefully maybe stick you in the side.
Oh no, I've had her questions. They wasn't hard either. None of them. Like y'all are some of the most chillest people.
Don't try to embarrass me like that. Don't do that to me. I'm your brother.
No problem. No
hey, look,
problem.
I'm gonna let the champ ask you a couple of questions. I'll let Apostle ask a couple of questions. Then if you want, you can take more, or you give a final statement. But y'all can have a little dialogue, go back and forth, and hopefully get something set up. Queen.
Sure.
Go ahead, sis.
Hey, shalom, most high bless. What's going on, Elder Qanath, Apostle Elder Apostle, and Toby? How you doing, Toby?
Hey,
God bless.
how you doing?
I'm all right. You and I had this conversation already, and the thing is, I don't even see the need of a debate, because we have to just get to these are a bunch of technicalities. What is egg is from an animal. It doesn't matter the most gentlest way that you kill it. Is an animal. If you suffocate it, if you lay it down and you rub its back until it drowns, whatever you want to do, it's an animal. It contains animal protein. It comes from an animal. My $1 million question is, what is the cause of anybody having to eat anything from an animal at all then? Why? You mentioned an insect, you mentioned a bee. Why eat that then? You talk about milk. Why drink that? Why have anything to do with anything that comes from anything living? It's my question.
No, it's a very basic question. It's straightforward. Now, first off, you don't have to kill any chicken to get eggs. You don't have to suffocate it. You don't have to drown it. Or any of the things you just mentioned. None of these have to be done to get it. The stipulation on animals was solely about killing the animal. That's what it was. So if you can get a product from it without killing it, it's not a problem. Right? There's nothing in these texts, there's nothing in these writings that have whatever. So you ask, why eat anything for whatever? You weren't forbade to eat anything that came from that wasn't his command. That's not what was historically stated. So again, the same thing with Ak just did. I feel like you're kind of doing a little bit too. You're taking your modern understanding, your contemporary view of the world, and you're overlaying it over what is written that he said. He didn't say abstain from all animals, don't come near animals, don't eat anything to do with it. That's not what was said. He never said that. None of his Talmudim or Shilachim, his taught ones or his apostles, none of them said that. So,
but my thing is this, not to cut you off. You said that these are technicalities, what you're saying. Because the thing is like this. It's an animal. That's the whole thing. It's an animal.
Sure.
And the thing you said, it's an egg. Well, hold on. You're preventing it to be fertilized. That's another technicality.
No,
hold on. You said all chickens lay eggs, but guess what? It contains animal protein. That's the first thing. It comes from an animal.
Yes.
And then the thing is that if roosters were around, the rooster would be fertilizing these eggs.
Roosters cannot. If you ever been around a farm or anything like that, roosters cannot fertilize every single chicken egg.
That's what the thing is that, but guess what? That one egg that you ate, that one egg that you ate could have been born.
Right. I understand that. That. My point is, not all of them are. They're not all born. That's the whole
Okay, but
point.
not every baby
So
is
if you
born. Not every
so
baby, like with a
so
woman.
let me.
If a woman has her menstruation, that baby did not
Just let her
So
get
you
a
become.
want
few
to eat
minutes
the you
out,
want to eat the you want to eat the
then you can
menstruation
jump. Just let her
cycle of
get
a
a few
woman? You
minutes.
say
Yeah,
that? That's
it's
I don't understand the
you
point
know
you're
what the
making.
thing is? The reason, like I said, we have tons of vegetables. We have tons of produce all
Sure,
around the world.
sure, sure.
There is no need to eat from any animal. There
There
is
is
no
no
need,
need.
or
There is
hold
no
on,
need.
but there actually is a need. It's you
What's the
cannot
need?
survive without eating it from an animal. That's why you're
What do you
eating
get?
it.
What do you get from an animal that you can't get outside of animal? What are you getting that you can't get? Name it.
You tell
Name it.
me. Do you
No,
know?
you just no. There is nothing. I just
Do
said there
you
is
take
no
a
need.
vitamin? Do you take a vitamin?
I do. No, I don't take vitamins, but I don't have a problem with people taking vitamins. You simply said there's a need for it. So I'm asking
Yes,
you, if
there
you
is a
say
need.
there's a need, what is that need? What is this thing that you can't get from plants that you say you have to get from animal? Tell me.
Protein and calcium and all of this other stuff, man.
No,
Not
you
Okay.
can
not
get that. You can't get
Yeah.
B12.
Okay, sis.
You can't
You
get
can't.
you only get B12 from an animal. You only get B12.
No. 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 No.
Unless
No.
it's genetically fortified. Hold on. This is a
Okay.
fact. You can only
Sure.
get B12, which is a very essential, one of the most essential vitamins that anybody you
Mhm.
can't live without it. And what they do is they genetically fortify it for vegans to be able to continue to live without it. And then there's also the omega-3. The omega-3
Mhm.
is what builds your heart and your brain. B12 is for the brain and the heart. Omega-3 is for the
Mhm.
brain and the heart. Where does omega-3 comes from? It comes from the fish. And what did Christ multiply? He multiplied the fish because the fish is essential for all of us to survive and all of us to live. The reason why everybody's over here eating eggs is because you have a craving for it. Why do you have a desire for something that you're not supposed to eat? Why
Again,
have a desire
you keep
for an
saying
egg?
again. Okay. First and foremost,
Animal
let's
protein.
let
Animals have a protein that we
okay.
need to survive.
Okay.
that's it.
Let me address. I'll address you in 1 second. All right, let me just address this, and I'll hop over to you. Now, when she said you actually can get protein from plants, there's actually more protein per gram in iron and protein per gram in broccoli than there is in steak. So that's
I'm
not.
talking about B12. I'm
I
talking about
heard.
B12.
I understand what you said. Like I said, I'm just addressing Ak right there. That's all. So as to your point, you made the statement about B12 or whatever, and you said that why this the whatever. I didn't. You said why are you eating things you're not supposed to eat or whatever like that. Again, you are putting stipulations on me and standards on me that I never said. Did I ever say that you couldn't eat those things? Did I ever say that was? Does any text ever say that you're not supposed to eat those things? So you're taking your modern day understanding of vegan, and then now you're trying to put that on the text, and by extension, by me. And I never said that. So let's first and foremost, let's clear that air. I never said that. That's what you're saying. Secondly, you absolutely can get B12. See, B12, the animals that B12 get, they're actually getting from plants. The reason why you have a hard time getting from plants in the soil over there is because the soil is ruined. It's all bad. It's all messed up. And what they do is they give animals B12 injections. All right, but you can get B12 from certain types of sea moss. You can get it from shiitake mushrooms or whatever like that. You just got to eat a lot of it. But there's B12 in plants. I don't know who told you that, but a simple Google search will do you wonders, sis. That's what I said. We walk around
Let me
with
jump in
what's
real.
the name
Hold
in our
on.
pockets.
Hold on. Let me jump in real quick because I do understand your argument, and I understand both of your argument. I think what we're missing is it's like this is a technical thing, and you
Oh,
never said that. However,
But we can still have a
you
debate.
saying
I
the text.
need
I
You
protein.
saying
forgot.
I
the
I
need
text.
forgot. There's
protein.
also
Wait.
nutritional
You saying
yeast.
that you saying the text saying we shouldn't eat meat, and I'm saying
Right.
that's why I was
Only
asking
vegans know
earlier. I
about
was
it.
trying to set a. Hold on. Can you hear me? I
Oh,
was
I can hear
trying to
you. I'm
set
sorry.
a.
I'm sorry.
I was trying
I'm
to set
sorry.
a premise when I started out saying what is meat. What is meat?
Sure.
Because all flesh is made of blood. Meat from all animals and us as humans or whatever,
Right.
it's compacted blood. The flesh is blood. Meat, muscles is blood.
Mhm.
So if you're saying we're not supposed to eat animals, the flesh or the goulash that's in the egg is blood. It don't have to be red, which makes it flesh. So this was, I think, her argument is the egg is flesh, because it's coming from the animal, it's made up from the animal, even though it may be in liquid form, it's flesh of the animal. I think that's what she's saying. If I'm wrong, she can
I
correct me.
totally
And you may disagree with
understand.
that.
I totally understand what you're saying. My point is that when you asked me that, I answered that, and I told you what flesh was.
Yeah, you did. I just wanted to get a
right. So
right.
what you're doing is you're basically saying what she said, and you're going back to it. I've already answered that. I said what it is and what it isn't. You can also get what you need from nutritional yeast. That also has it. So I mean, it's like in the vegan community would know about that. So it's not something you would typically find outside of vegans or whatever. But this assumption that you made is not totally correct, my sister. That's not true. It's just incorrect. Okay. So I think I answered your question, and I know I answered Qanath's question. So my Apostles of Khan, what did you have to ask? I'm sorry.
Thanks.
No problem.
Shalom to you, brother, to the chat, to my queen and my elder brother, Qanath. Thanks, brother. This is the first time I had the fortune of hearing you. I didn't even know that you were over in Africa. So, but I know a person that raised ducks. They eat duck eggs. I can't imagine it, but they're a little larger than chicken eggs.
Sure.
So you don't have to cook as much. One egg will suffice. Then I know people that eat quail eggs, which are even smaller than chicken eggs. I'm moving in about a month, and I'm gonna be raising chickens, and I'm gonna have roosters.
Okay.
I don't care who complains. Most of it is people complain because of the noise of the rooster. 6 o'clock in the morning. You know,
I got them all around
to it. Right. I'm looking forward to it. So
Hallelujah.
I'm gonna raise some lamb, some goat, and I'm gonna eat me some goat. My father Abraham ate goat all the time. So
Okay.
I'm gonna eat me some goat. It reminds me of a text, Matthew 11, 18 and 19.
Okay.
The comparison was about John the Baptist and Christ. Ha Mashayach said that John the Baptist came eating nothing but honey and wild locusts. But the Son of Man came eating everything, which is permissible. He came eating it all, he said, and drinking. And they called him a wine bibber and a glutton.
Sure.
So they condemned John for not eating, and they condemned Ha Mashayach for eating. Yeah, a lot of accusations were brought up against Mashayach. But we know they were lies. They were not truths, because Mashiach had no sin. So even in the face of the accusations of him being a wine bibber and a glutton, or him breaking the Sabbath or committing blasphemy, they accused him of all of that. But the Jews could not kill him, because none of that, they would have simply stoned him. But he came to die on a Roman cross. He came to die the only way he could have died. They could not stone him. They tried to do that, and he disappeared from in the midst of them. They knew not where he went, because they were not permitted to stone him. That's not why he came. When we read in Smoke, chapter 12, we read about how the lamb is to be separated on the 10th day for 4 days to be examined before it is to be slaughtered for Passover. Christ himself was examined. He entered Jerusalem on the 10th day. He was examined for 4 days. And on that fourth night, he was slain that morning, which is the Feast of Unleavened Bread. So he kept Passover, was taken captive that morning and slain that day, and was removed from the cross because it was the Feast of Unleavened Bread. As you say, for the next how many weeks?
Oh, I'm sorry. That's the question. My bad. Was that the question?
So now I'm just pushing back a little bit on.
Push.
I'm pushing back
Feel free,
on a little bit of what was said. Christ
can I address the point?
Christ was called a Nazarene.
Sure.
Not because he was a Nazarene, but because he was born in the city of Nazareth. He was from Nazareth.
Okay.
That's why they called him Christ, the Nazarene.
Let him get in real quick, Apostle. Then you ask your question.
Let me just address the points you make. Okay. So for one, Yachanani Mercer, he did not eat locusts. He ate. It was not. He did not eat.
Natalie, hold it down for me real quick. I'll be right back.
That's what the book says. Maybe it was a mistake.
The book says that. The book is mistaken in several points, and that's one of them.
I agree.
What he ate was these pods. They called it was from a carob tree. They call it some people call it the locust tree because the way they come out, it looked like the type of orange they got or whatnot. But in different language, they call it St. John's bread or whatnot. So he didn't eat any whatever. He ate honey and these plants. That's the first one. Number two, you said that he ate all that was permissible. Again, the question becomes then, well, what was permissible? That's what it is. He didn't say that he ate meat. He just simply said he ate what was permissible. That was the second point. Number three, Yahusha was never put on any cross. There was no cross there. The text doesn't even say a cross. The cross says, the book says, the two words that are used in there in Greek are storos and zulon. Both of them mean a long plank. The whole the doctrine of a cross, the T, is basically from the Constantine era. That's what they brought in there. What the Romans used, the method of execution was they would take a big, it was called impalement. They would take a big stake and they would basically put you, it was like a tree. They would put you on there and they would have your hands up above your head and they would stick one nail between both your hands and they would put both of your legs on the side and they would stick a nail in each ankle. That would be 3 nails, but it wasn't like the T shape that you see where a nail in each arm and then one in both feet or whatnot. That is a later Christian manifestation. The next point, he wasn't actually killed on unleavened bread. He was actually killed on Pesach. They had to get him down off the stake before unleavened bread started, which was starting at that evening. So it was Pesach that he was killed on. Everything else, like I said, that's cool. I just was trying to address historically those points. I'm not trying to. Some people might call that technicality, but I say that's just the truth. I don't think the truth is technicalities. I think the truth is of itself, and it should have its day. So, so for those points, I think it's very important that we recognize what is true and what is not true. That's just my opinion.
Let me push back on that. But Vlad, the impeller, he impaled. And when you impale someone, you take a stick, and excuse my language, y'all, you stick him through his rectum.
Right.
And the stick comes out the back of his head.
Right.
That's impaling.
That's a modern day.
That's
a modern day one. That wasn't the actual.
I'll let you go.
Oh, I'm sorry.
I'll let you repair. Okay. Please. So that's impaling. Christ was not impaled. There's controversy in the book of Acts. We see 5. It talks about he was crucified on a tree, but we know that wood, that whatever he was crucified on, came from a tree. So that's why in Acts it says he was crucified from a tree. The word crucified itself implies a cross. I don't know where you get your information from, okay? But I will push heavily back on that. Just how in history crucifixion or crucifix or crucifying someone is done. It is not impelling. So Vlad, yeah, he impaled. I'm talking about that dude over there in Syria, right? Over there in the Syria. He did that. Okay, that's the whole concept of Dracula. But where we get what was permitted and what was not permitted, we look in Leviticus. And we can find out what is permitted to eat and what is not permitted to eat. In the beginning, when God created in Genesis, he created meat to be consumed. And it was all created for us to do as we choose with it. What was defiled was stipulated, and what was clean was stipulated. Even when it came to the ark, by the creatures that were called clean were taken on the ark by sevens. The creatures that were unclean were taken on the ark by two.
Let me let him answer.
I'm wrapping up. I'm wrapping up. That was to make up the difference by 7 and by 2. That was to be eaten, opposed to that was not to be eating. When they came off the ark, because they had no vegetation when they came off the ark. Everything was destroyed. That's all they had. Well, what was taken on the ark? It took time for the earth to come back. It took time. And we all know that, as well as it took time for the populate.
All right. So before you answer that rebuttal that I'm gonna ask if she has anything to say. But I would like to see you and Apostle have a dialogue with that man. Maybe we can set up something next week. I know we don't like to call it debate.
No problem. Me,
I can't, brother. I can't.
You can't do it.
Yeah, because I'm so close to moving, and because I got people going to be coming into my home, I don't have time to study properly.
I got
you.
But I've got 3 things already lined up for August, after August 12th, when I get to Tennessee. And I will take on anything after that. Okay. But I do got 3 brothers.
You say August 12th? Okay.
I'm going to be in Tennessee after August 12th.
My apologies.
That's our plan and projection. I will be in Tennessee.
I don't have much longer.
I know you don't have much longer. I just want to jump in and say this, brother.
Cool. Let me address this first.
Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Please address this, please. I got you. Okay. Please. It's like, please. Okay. So the first point you made about the impalement or whatever. Again, we'll read what you're talking about, Vlad Tepes. I understand that is the more contemporary understanding of what impalement means or whatever, but that is not what it was in ancient times. So the Greek word for cross used in the text was, I guess you can't see my screen, is storos. It literally means a long plank. That's what it means, a wooden long plank, right? And so it even says that it says, even the word they use for crucified, it can mean to nail someone to the cross or simply to impale someone on a pole. That's what it is. Storos and Zulon were the 2 words they used. It never said anything about a cross. You can find the whole method of Roman torture and execution, again, is something that's well documented. Romans didn't use no T to execute people in the 1st century. That didn't happen till much later. That's the first point. The second point, you stated that animals were made to be eaten. That's what their whole point. They were created and they were made to be eaten. It says so right there in Bereshit or Genesis. Well, I got my Bible, so let me just go right quick and go. Let's see what it actually says. It's Genesis 1:29. Let's see what it says. You said that was the meat and that was what was good, and that was the creation. Okay, let me see. 1:29. It literally says, and Elohim said, I have given you every plant that yields a seed, which is on the face of the earth, and every tree whose fruit you'll see. To you, it is for food. Or in the KJV version, it would say, to
Says
you, it
meat.
is for meat. Yeah. So the plant was defined as meat in there. That's what it is. And then it says, to every beast of the earth, and every bird of the heavens, and to every creeping creature on the earth, in which there is a living being, every green plant is for food.
Every creature. Yeah.
So it is a mistake to say that he created animals to consume. That's not true. He created plants to consume for man and for animals. And he called that food. Now, if you want to say that he changed his mind and then decided that, okay, you eat animals or whatever, or like you said, he said he had clean animals and unclean animals when he loaded them on the ark, then why did Noah get off the ark, or Noah get off the ark, and he said you can eat anything? He didn't tell him he could eat clean animals. He said you can eat anything. And he brought, and allegedly, according to text, he brought clean animals. So why was he giving
like you said, there's mistakes, and then
absolutely. Let me finish. So that becomes a problem. I agree with you. There are mistakes, and you just admitted that was obviously a mistake. So I would take that a step further. If that was a mistake, and we know the Most High don't change, and he tells you in the beginning, you're going to eat plant.
Brother.
Huh? I'm sorry.
You got Leviticus.
Okay, I'm not. That's cool. That's cool. What I'm saying is, we say Yah does not change. He said he does not change. It's written over and over again. I'm just going
concerning his promises.
Concerning his promises. He changes. So basically, what we're saying is,
he repented. He changed. He repented. Means to change.
Wait a minute.
Okay. So that's your view, that he repents and he changes or whatever.
He changes.
I don't agree with that. He's not like man. It says it plenty times. And my point is that in the beginning, it's a mistake to say that he created animals for man to consume. We just agree that that's not true. Food was plants. Noah was given animals, clean and unclean, but you said that was a mistake where he said he could eat everything or whatnot. So by that logic, it could also be a mistake.
I didn't say that. Yeah.
You said there are things that are mistakes in the text. You just said that.
No, I said, like you said, there are things that are mistakes.
Okay, in other words, did he give him permission? Did he give him permission to eat anything he wanted?
No, so not anything you wanted. No, but he gave permission. He gave permission in Leviticus to eat certain meat.
I'm not talking about. We can get to Leviticus in 1 second. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about by the sheep in Genesis when he came off the boat. He gave permission to eat anything he wants. He didn't specify clean or unclean. He said any living creature and anything that creeps on the earth, you can eat any of it.
Yeah,
that's what he gave permission for.
Yeah, I think that when we look, I don't think that Genesis account when he's saying anything is rightly interpreted. I believe, and the reason why I stay on that, because I can clearly go to the book of Leviticus,
right,
where it's pronounced clearly
what is clean and what is unclean.
What is clean and what is permittable, what is not permittable. Peter, when he lowered the sheep and showed all manner of beasts, and the Lord said, Peter, kill and eat. Peter said, not so, Lord. I have not done so. So Peter, being an Israelite of that day and time, knew what was clean and what was not clean. But that wasn't the point that the Messiah, that the Most High was making.
I get you.
It was about people, Gentiles, those that were part of the faith, but walked away from the faith by being converted into Greeks.
Right.
Okay, that's what that conversation was about.
I get that.
Because we know that Christ bore his cross through the streets. He carried the plank that you're talking about, but there was a plank already set in the ground.
Does it say that anywhere in the text?
The plank he carried, still Christ bare the cross alone. We know Simon, who they called the Negro, was chosen to carry the cross for him.
Does it say that there was a plank already there?
It was set up there because there was two men already up there.
I get that there were two men, but is there a verse that says that there were Texas there?
His center plank was in the middle. All they had to do was put the top.
Is there a verse that says that?
Brother, it implies that he carried it through the street.
It implies.
That's right. Okay. He carried it through the street.
So he couldn't have taken his own stake.
No.
He couldn't have taken that stake and then put it in.
That was not. No. That stake is already in the ground.
Where do we read
that? The Romans had stakes already prepared.
Where do we read that? Where do we read that?
When they brought in
the trial. I'm gonna have to step in. I'm gonna have to step in.
Where do we read
that? When they brought in the trial.
I'm gonna have to step in.
No problem.
Hold on. Time out. I don't want to mute you guys. I don't want to mute you.
No, go ahead. You good? I'm good.
I don't want to mute you. You guys gonna have to. You guys gonna have to step in.
Converting with you, bro.
You guys gonna have to step in the ring.
Of studying this book.
Hold on.
My college degree up against it.
Hold on, Apostle. Yeah. You brothers. Hey man, how you doing? You guys gonna have to step in the ring August 12th, so maybe somebody else sooner, because I like the conversation. And I'm gonna be honest with you, I see both parts. I don't necessarily agree with both parts. I see some things. Right. I don't think the Bible has no mistakes. Okay, I just don't.
Right.
I think man has mistakes.
Right.
But I just see things a little different. I understand where both parties coming from. I was trying to get a line, something we can actually build on. That's why I was asking, them questions over and over from the beginning. But I think they asked some great questions. I would just ask you to hold back your response from Apostle, because he don't want to respond again. And I'd rather y'all go for it on the 12th, or maybe somebody can take you on before that. So I'm gonna let Natalia. I know she had.
Yes, she's been waiting patiently. I'm sorry, I know you've been patient. My apologies. Yeah.
No, that's fine, bro. I'm gonna let her go ahead and say what she want to say. You can answer, or even ask her a question, and then I'll let you close out. Go ahead, champ.
Hey, before she go real quick, Qanath,
go ahead.
Go to Matthew chapter 1, verse 17, and it talks about the 42 generations, the 14, the 14, and the 14. Take your time and count. Go to chapter 1. Start with Abraham. Okay? And count those names to David, and then go from David and count it, and then go from leaving Babylon and count it. And I guarantee you'll come up with only 39 generations. Okay. There are not 42 generations there. That's a first sign that there's mistakes. Not just in the New Testament, in the Old Testament.
I agree.
Okay, let's let Naphtali come in. And Matthews, I hear you, brother. You ain't gotta yell. Okay, you with the all caps on me. You my brother. You ain't gotta yell at me though. But go ahead, sister.
I see him.
Hey, all right. Yeah, this was a very powerful conversation. I actually had some things that I felt like I could have added in, but your brother, I saw you pull up your yeast, and we can definitely continue on our conversation with this debate. But really, I really wanted to talk to you about Ghana. That's what I want to talk to you about, is how's Ghana? How did you get there? How are you surviving there? Because my husband and I are trying to move to Africa. That's our thing. Right. But I saw that. And if you still want to, we can set up and have our, like you said, you don't want to call it a debate. We can call it a conversation.
Oh, it's going to be a debate. It's going to be a debate. Because where this brother goes, it's got to be a debate.
Okay, well, it can be a debate.
Whatever makes you guys happy. It doesn't matter to me. It's cool.
It doesn't matter to me either. Like I said, I look forward to it because I like how, we can bring in, science. We can also bring in the Bible, and we can bring in, many other type of history, like when you bring in we can bring in history, science, as well as the Bible. Right. So, I look forward to it. But I also want to talk to you about Ghana. So maybe you and I can have a conversation about that, because like I said, anytime. My husband and I are looking to go to Africa.
That's what I would do. I would call, we all have a three-way call, maybe later on tonight. I don't know, maybe too late for him or tomorrow.
Yeah, maybe a bit late for me. Yeah, tomorrow.
Yeah, I can call you around this time tomorrow. we can talk about all that offline. That'd be great.
Yes. We can definitely have this conversation. I look forward to it, but I'm gonna go ahead and hop off and I'm say shalom, most high bless to everybody.
Most high
Shalom,
bless.
most high
I
bless.
forgot
Thank
to
you,
ask you
sis.
too, brother, how the wife and children are doing and everything. We'll talk about that.
Oh, everybody, they all sitting up here. They all sitting up here trying to be quiet while I got this going on, waiting for me to end it. That's all. But everybody's here. Everybody's chilling. Everybody's doing well. We're
That's
all
wonderful.
good.
That's
Absolutely.
wonderful. Well, I hope that we got the blood moving a little faster today. You know, when the blood starts going through the veins faster, that means you know your health is moving, it's circulating. So I hope we was able to charge you up a little bit. You know, and we miss you, Ak. You know, we miss you, man. You know, so.
Hey, I'm always here, Ak. I'm always here. I'm always available.
No doubt.
Apostle
How is our
Sapan,
presence?
Hey, well, so when you going to come back and do part 2, brother?
Oh man, what happened on? I was waiting on y'all. I kept looking online.
You know what? I thought I sent you a text. I had family mercy all last week.
Oh yeah. Don't worry. I don't know now, man, because although that's already written up, we'll talk. Yeah,
we'll talk.
But I'd like to ask you, brother, how's the Hebrew Israelite presence over in Guana?
There are plenty of people out here that believe it. I don't necessarily fellowship with everybody over. It's a different vibe over here. Like, okay, for example, the whole concept of a Hebrew Israelite doesn't really resonate here because they see themselves as just Israel.
Okay, I can
right. So there's parts. They have towns that are named Israel. You know, they call it a little Israel. They have Israel Community Church. Like so it would be like if you went to China and somebody said, I'm a Chinese Asian. You know what I'm saying? By that aspect, no, there's nobody, there's no Chinaman who's going to say I'm a Chinese Asian. He's going to be like, I'm Chinese. You know what I'm saying? Or you know what I'm saying? I'm Vietnamese, or I'm, you know, or whatever, you know, ethnicity they're from. So over here, nobody calls themselves a Ghanaian African, right? They just say I'm Ghanaian, or I'm, you know, Nigerian, or I'm from Niger, or I'm, you know, from Cote d'Ivoire, or, you know, something like that. So, like I said, that whole mentality is a little redundant. You know what I'm saying, in terms of like the culture.
And you supposed to be
around
coming
here.
over like 2-3 years ago doing the presentation on life over there. You know, I know we've been talking
Man,
about.
I just been living life. To be honest with you, I wrote the book and because I wanted to, because these conversations, while they are beneficial, a lot of times what I like to do is I like to trim away a lot of, not saying anything about my arc over there, but I'm just talking about in general. I like to trim away like the religion, right? I don't really like debate theology. To me, that's fruitless because you can believe what you want to believe and your spirit can move you in any which way. I just want to talk about what is historically factual and historically true, which is why I brought the thing about the stake, because it's just like, you know, yeah, we can believe that there was a stake there and he carried it and he brought his stake and he put it on there and whatnot, but there's nothing historical that says that's true. Right. So
I'm more like look at it like
however you want to do the T. However you want to do the T. However you want to do the T. Is what I'm saying is there's nothing historical to that. And we have actual pictures of Rome and how they were impaling people back then. And it was all the way that I just explained. So again, when you learn the story about Constantine and how they came up with the cross, you know, it was a vision he saw in the sky. He got from his mom, and it was his right to rule and all that kind of stuff. There's a lot deeper connotation to it than just simply, you know, what we were saying.
That was 100 years later. He died in 345.
Absolutely.
He died in 347.
Well, let's do this real quick, my brother. Let's set up something. We could talk maybe tomorrow, because I know it's getting late and I'm on the plantation, about setting up a date. Hopefully we can set up a date next week between you two guys. And then
he said he had to move first. He said after
I'm talking about you and Naphtali.
Yeah, you know, sure, absolutely. Yeah. Anytime she's
you just let me know. Then
Naphtali is affordable. She's an affordable opponent, man.
Oh hell yeah, he already know.
Yeah, I don't have. I mean, she's.
I think you're all formidable. Like I don't see anybody as, you know. I think you're all great. right?
Yeah.
I don't.
Yeah, we
Yeah,
are. We
so
all are great. You know,
I
I
think
think
the
we
Most
all.
some of us are
High,
great. Some of us are great in telling lies too.
right?
You
I
know.
think the Most High made more of a statement with our last letter of our Alpha, our last letter, the T, the cross, the last letter in our alphabet, because I can take the word Barashith and show that he was crucified on the cross. And just in the word Barashith, I can
Okay.
Well,
show it.
let's. And you're right.
But
I gotta get out of here. I'm gonna
I
let you get
gotta
the
go.
last. I'm gonna let you. I'm
Yeah.
gonna let you get the last word, brother, because I gotta get out here. I'm on the
Okay.
plantation.
All right.
You
No
say what you gotta
problem.
say. Then I'm gonna hit you
That,
tomorrow. I'm gonna hit you tomorrow so we can
sure.
set up a
No
date between
problem.
you and Naphtali. And Apostle, I'll hit you tonight because I know you. We almost on the same time. Hit you tonight. And talk about
Sure.
what what you're doing. But go ahead, bro. You got the
Sure.
last. You got the last word.
All right. So the last word is the same thing that I was talking to Sis about, and I find most people. And this is not to be a shot at him or at her or anybody in general. It's just one of those things that you read when you read the text, because he kept saying, well, Leviticus, and I get it. I absolutely get it. It's there, it's written. That's what it's supposed to be. It's Leviticus and this whatever. But we can all agree that there are errors in the text. We can all agree on that, right? So the question comes, what are errors and what are not? And so the same thing I did before with her, which yielded no answer, I give to you and I give to everybody else, or whatever. When you go to Jeremiah 7:22, he says plainly, this is thus says Yah, mind you. So in case somebody say, well, I only deal with thus says Yah. This is thus says Yah. This, for I did not speak to your fathers or command them in the day that I brought them out of the land of Misraim about matters of ascending offerings or slaughterings. But this word I did command them, saying, obey my voice, and I shall be your Elohim, and you be my people, and walk in all the ways I've commanded you, and that it will be well with you. So that's a big problem, okay? Because if what he just said is true, that it all relies on what we know about what's in Leviticus, and then we know because Leviticus. The text is saying, thus says Yah, is saying very plainly, he didn't command them when he brought them out of the land of Misraim about any type of offerings or slaughterings. So what's the whole book of Leviticus for? I just leave that as food for thought, not to jab at him or her or anybody else or whatnot. This is one that kept me up for many a night as I'm sitting over there just like, you can't reconcile that. That's a direct conflict. It's a direct contradiction. The same way it's a direct conflict and contradiction as we say the Most High doesn't change. Now, there says he did change. He repented. That's repent means change. That's literally the accusation that Shamaun HaMagi, or Simon the Magi, he brought against Kafar, saying that the Father is not infallible, because he says, I'm not like man. I never go back on my word. I do never change. All over the text, he says, I do not change. And yet we read in places where he's clearly changing. So it's not lining up. And if he tells you in the beginning, plants are for food, in the end, when the kingdom comes, he says the lion will lay with the lamb and they will eat straw, and everybody will eat from the garden. So plants will be food in the end. And somehow we, through religion and through dogma, we have convinced ourselves to believe that in the middle, we eat meat. So the beginning, plants. In the end, plants. But in the middle, no, y'all just go ahead and eat what you want. It's kind of like that weird concept, like I just explained about Newark, when he loaded up. Imagine when he loaded them on there, whatnot. If you do your counting and you find out those numbers don't match up, how we start loading the animals up. I'll bring that for the discussion with Naphtali, but that doesn't match up. The same way when Newark goes up the mountain, he goes up 7 times, comes down twice. I mean, there's so many things in the text that just don't totally line up. And it's not to say that there's a fault with our Father. There's a fault with us. We are fallible. We are man. He is not. He told you very clearly what was food in the beginning. He tells you very clearly what was food in the end. He's told you time and time again, I do not desire sacrifice. I do not want it. Stop it. All I want is your obedience. We continue to have this desire, this lust for flesh or whatever. Now she said, I believe she said something about, I eat eggs because, what's the name? I rarely eat eggs. I eat eggs maybe a couple times a year. maybe something like that. And it's like I'll eat like fried rice and I'll have like egg fried rice or something like that. That's it or whatever. So it's not like a thing where I'm sitting up there and I'm like, you know what I'm saying? Like I got this lust for eggs or anything like that. That's not it. And I believe the any discussion that anybody has about these matters should not be about any one person or their diet or anything like that. It's just what is historically true. What did the Messiah command? And he didn't command that you should all be vegans. I think you should be vegans just for your own health and for the safety of the animals. However, the command was simply don't kill an animal and don't eat the corpse of an animal, the carrion, the flesh of the dead animal. That is what flesh is. That's what the context was always, what you asked and what I believe I answered again. So I just want to leave on that note in saying that this is not something that, again, I'm not expecting everybody to take. It's not something that I accepted, okay? I'm not coming at you like some guru or some wise sage that came in there and was like, bro, the spirit done wound me up and I got this all figured out. No, I didn't. I pushed back on this hard or whatnot. I just found myself pushing back to the point where it got to be where it was like I had nothing to push back against anymore. It was just like I'm just doing it because I wanted to push back against, because I drew my line in the sand. It wasn't about what was historically true or what was textually true. It was about what I wanted personally. That's all. And again, everything that I've said and all the proofs about not just the text or all the things about the Messiah in the first century, you can find in the book, The 13th Apostle. I wrote this just so our people will have.
Where can they find the book at, brother?
You can find it on Amazon.com. It's on
Say
Amazon.
it again.
It's on Amazon.com.
The name of the book.
The book is 13th Apostle. The 13th Apostle. I record all the information from Eusebius, from the Dead Sea Scrolls, from Josephus, from the Acts and Ezra, everything that I brought up here and all these books that you whatever. Not everybody got time to read all that, and I respect that. So I've collected and correlated and give it to you so you can go see it for yourself. Don't believe me about nothing. I'm just some dude on YouTube. That's all I'm saying.
Hey, no doubt, man. I'm gonna be a little funny here. I wouldn't be Qanath if I was, man. I'm gonna make sure I had them alligator eggs and turkey. Okay,
hey, you do you. Hey, you do you.
I'm just messing with you, brother. Hey, man, I really do miss you, man.
Because we had a
ball when you came over last time, man. Damn.
I enjoyed myself as well. I enjoyed our conversation. I found you. I gotta say, I don't know what your conversation would be about. I tend not to get in other people's business, but I gotta say, you were insightful, brother, and you were not what I expected. I'll leave it at that. I was going in there expecting a certain thing, and you came out and you were much more calm, collected, knowledgeable, and open to different interpretation. I found that we agreed on a lot more things than I actually thought that we would.
That's the truth.
Yeah, that was the truth of it.
And you know what? I'm glad you said that, because a lot of times I don't have to defend myself. People will defend me without defending me. You know what I mean?
Right.
Because people just outright judge me, and you really don't know me unless you like really studying me or you get a chance to meet me. You know, and I appreciate that, man. And heck, I mean, when I met you, I didn't know you, and shit. We got along, and I thought we was gonna disagree on some stuff. I said, well, damn, we damn near agreeing on everything.
About 90% of what I was saying, I found we were walking the same on. And like I said, I was with my arc at the time, Phil Moshe, and he was like, bro, I thought you said this nigga was going. I was like, bro, I don't know. I said, I went in there and I had this interpretation of him or what I had built up in my mind, what I thought it was going to be about, and what I thought it was. But as I got there and we sat down, we broke bread, we had, had a drink, and when we talked or whatnot, he was like, no, that sounds legit. I'm like, well, shit. I mean, I don't really know, like, what. I just went home. I was like, I don't know what to say. I was like, I'm going home. It was what it was.
Without mentioning people's name, man, a lot of people would say stuff, and I don't know why they say it, but then once you meet a person, then you get to see for yourself who they are. And once again, man, thanks for coming on. And Shawsham, thank you. Thank everybody in the chat. K Jude, I see you. CUC family in the house. Most High bless everybody in the chat. The brother, hopefully Most High will, he gonna start coming back more, because he just don't deal with vegan stuff. He deals with a lot more stuff. He is a scholarly brother. I will tell y'all that, because he would tell you When he came to my house, we had plenty of books, and we were going in on a lot of subjects. He said, I didn't know the brother was that knowledgeable.
Page for page, line for line, and you know, I'm sitting down there. I'm like, well, I believe this, and he's like, oh no, I believe that too. I'm like, but but I thought you were supposed, because sometimes, a lot of times, we have these preconceived notions about people, and this goes for everybody, not just me or you or anything. We put people in a box, right? That's what I was kind of talking about with the thing or whatnot. I don't really just like okay, you can be vegan, like I think you should be vegan or whatnot, but that's not what the text says. And what I'm saying is we put each other in these boxes so that we can make these straw man arguments, right? We say you have to fit in this little box, and when you fit in this little box, then I can then make the argument against that box. And what you find is a lot of times that was the case with me. I had you put in this box, and when I got there, you was stepping out the box. You was all in it. You was in another box. You jumped over there, and I'm like, okay, all right. I just took my books and went home.
No, you know what? You cut off. So give me that last 3 minutes because you cut off. We didn't hear it.
Oh, I said sometimes we.
He did cut off. We heard him.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Oh, that was me. So let me say this. I'm sorry, I'll interrupt you too. Let me say this. So I'm gonna let Sam close it out, but I want to thank everybody in the chat again for tuning in. Thank you, Sister Neftali, for coming on, Apostle for coming on. I love everybody in the chat. I really do, man. And thanks for coming on. But hey, tune in tonight. Like I said, get you a glass of wine or some apple cider. You know, I'm not gonna say put the kids away, but it's going to be pretty intense and it's going to be funny. I just feel like having some fun tonight. You know, I'm giving a shout out to my brother Unseen Soldier. We're gonna play some videos. We're gonna have some fun. So get ready, man. It's gonna be so open up tonight. But Most High bless you, brother. Thanks for coming on, and we're gonna chat, and hopefully we can get that thing with you and Neftali in the ring next week for fun. For fun.
Yeah,
okay. All right. So I hook the three of us up so we can all talk offline. Sham, Most High bless. Let's get it.
It's this only road that I'm walking. No company, no company. All the voices in my head won't stop it. My only company.
Blood off my hands, the judgment coming fast, too much blood on his lane. The second exodus is about to happen, he playing. He's sending out the winds on this rock, we gon' stand. We gon' trust the Son of Man. Just the final hour was disconnected from the source, we done found the power. Messiah built the church back, gotta trust the founder. The carpenter, got the father with him, ain't no stopping you. Protected by the winds if you got his help with you. Stand on the narrow, the father gon' provide, y'all his eyes on the sparrow. Never seen the righteous get forsaken, not at all. The devil trying to take us cause he know he about to fall. And Michael standing up in his hour, keep the laws. We gon' blow the trumpet, we ain't go to war at all. Messiah made a way, he laid it down for our flaws. We got the father with his Isaiah, stand tall. Protecting these commands, they at war with him. The dragon man cause the remnant about to score with him. The children of the prophets, we done finally hockey. The law is the light, got us out the darkness. Return to the Father, ain't no other options. We let Messiah in, we done heard him knocking. Worthy is the Lamb, ain't no better time, surrender all right now. Ain't no looking back, you ain't lot wife, hell no. Fit for the kingdom, ain't no way that he gon' fail y'all. Training up his kids, ain't no way we gon' derail y'all. The devil making war with the saints, man, he smell y'all. We gon' go to war about these commandments to the end. Protect my father word, this ain't no game, this ain't pretend. Messiah coming back, we study yet and I repent. The angels on the corner, finally blowing out the wings. Ain't no other way to get protected but the blood. I'll put your mercy and your grace around us. Keeping these commandments cause we know that's real love. Building up this ark cause you send it out flood. What you see is hand upon this land, it's time to leave. Sodom and Gomorrah out of order, time to flee. Babylon gon' burn every nation about to see. Messiah coming back, everybody to their knees. Every nigga gon' bow. Boy, girl, child, y'all, he coming in the clouds. Thousands of years, man, it's almost time now. The valley of the drought, we done came alive now. This for every nigga you done hung, every baby you done raped, everything that you done done. Ain't no way you gonna escape, ain't no way that you can run. You gon' see them face to face with a hill Babylon, but we can't.